We'll be starting shortly. All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2021. Bill, how are you? How are things?
Ian, hi. Happy New Year. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, long time no talk.
Yes.
Last time we spoke, Bitcoin was what, under 30K? Bitcoin went to
Uh,
40K. Ethereum went what, new all-time high, almost 1300, 1400, almost back to the all-time high. A lot has happened since we left.
yeah, I mean, I believe the last time we spoke, I was wearing a Santa suit, and it was Santa was delivered the goods. If you were long the large caps.
Yeah, Santa was definitely open for business. What's up, everybody? How are you? Andrea on Twitter. James, Dragon Ball Crypto, what's up? C Sharp. James Locker, where were we last week? We were with our families on holiday and vacation. Obviously, brand new year. Wanted to make sure we had some time to rest. What's up, Ahmed? P2P, how are you? Block Tech, To the Moon Crypto, Thomas, Gregson. What's up, everybody? Eric. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, share this video with your family, with your friends, crypto family, everywhere. Let's get going. All right. I know there's a lot of questions, but pretty much we'll be taking questions probably after Bill's market update. This is the first market update of 2021. So you definitely want to make sure wherever you are, you sit down, grab a nice cold drink, relax, and unwind because it's time for the Token Metrics live stream. Okay, with that being said, Bill, take it away.
All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Token Metrics customers, Happy New Year. Other than people holding Bitcoin and crypto, I wonder what's so happy about it. So let's talk. Let's talk the market update. Bitcoin. All right. The question of the hour. So will it keep going? It could. We're looking at a target of 45K, but by March. Okay. Now, obviously, Bitcoin can do whatever it wants. But we're sort of wondering if it isn't a little bit overdone, and we'll know if it's overdone by how it behaves around a Gann line at 37 or 38K. Now, for chart people out there or non-chart people, there are a lot of these lines, those black lines you see there. That's pretty much how all the professional guys are charting Bitcoin. I even had a TV show host tell me he was bored with seeing it. Naturally, we want to keep it fresh for you, so I mixed it with those diagonal Gann lines. And it usually works pretty well in markets that behave like this. So 37K matters in Bitcoin. Now, let me say something about Bitcoin dominance, okay? So for the massive rally in Bitcoin, obviously ETH participated, and Bitcoin dominance never went through 70. I mean, it went through 70, but it has not been able to achieve a weekly close above it. And if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, that stochastics picture really argues that Bitcoin dominance is not only done going up, but could actually fall apart and go lower. Now, for altcoin traders, that's like, oh, wow, yes, finally, we're going to get to play. And I truly hope that is the case because we are Token Metrics. We are the altcoin research company. However, as things stand on January 10th, after watching the events of today, it feels like today was like a week in a day. It was a flash crash, came all the way back, and now I don't know if it's going to flash crash again. One thing I would tell you about Bitcoin dominance is Bitcoin dominance can go down if Bitcoin gets hammered. Yes, that's right. If Bitcoin gets hammered. Ethereum is still wildly undervalued and underappreciated in our opinion, right? One of our YouTube colleagues said it perfectly when he said Ethereum is going to be a household name by the end of the year. So if you want the 2021 preview in one sentence, I think he gave it to us, right? But this whole idea that, Bitcoin could go to 250,000, yeah, that's a good idea. But a lot of people could get washed out. Now, how would that happen? Well, there was FUD this morning on Tether. There's always FUD every 6 months on Tether, though. I did understand that Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, and essentially practically the inventor of the modern Fed printing press, along with Bernanke, said or rumored to say that she didn't really like Bitcoin. Because keep in mind, Bitcoin at 10K, Bitcoin at 20K, Bitcoin at 50K is embarrassing central banks. So they might have a few things to say about it. And that could cause a little volatility when people have been used to having it go up every day. People are like, well, I'm hodling for the long term. That's easy to say when it's going up 5% every day. But what happens if it gets choppy? What happens if the president comes out and says something that's not friendly towards business? So if you long a bunch of Bitcoin and you've had a lot of fun in crypto, you want to start thinking about the fact that a new president is being inaugurated on January 20th. That is 10 days from today. And in my opinion, holding less crypto than you've been holding, and definitely not, let me say that again, not being leveraged long for the next 10 days would be smart. Okay, now next chart. Okay, so I guess everyone out there, including our international audience, saw what happened in Washington, D.C. A large group of people, I guess the word is, stormed the Capitol building. If you're not an American, the best story I can tell you about it is that I have a friend who called me and said that when she watched it on television, she sat in front of the TV and cried. That's kind of how serious an event it was. So on Sunday, January 10th, I'm challenged with the opportunity to say, well, what am I going to say about this that's not going to make the left upset or the right upset? Because we're neither, we're in crypto. So this is a tweet from one of the top 5 smartest people I know. His name's Michael Krieger, and he runs a Twitter called Liberty Blitzkrieg. And he put here 1776 to 2021. America started in 1776, and he's essentially implying it ended in 2021. And he's never been a big fan of printing money, and he says it didn't have to go this way. So that's an idea about the national mood. Now you're like, Bill, we're in crypto. What does that have to do with us? Okay, it has a lot to do with us because interest rates matter. Anybody who's been watching this show knows that in 2018, I argue that one of the reasons why Bitcoin went from 20 to 3K was because interest rates were rising throughout the year. And now that the Democrats control both the House and the Senate, everyone is expecting the Democratic Party to just simply hand out money. They're expecting 2K stimulus checks, okay, etc. Now, I don't know whether you know this or not, but inflation is on the rise. Bitcoin maximalist Charlie Shrem recently noted on Twitter that the cost of his morning breakfast taco went up at least 10%. This afternoon, I just paid $16 for a cheesesteak sandwich and a handful of French fries. $16. Inflation, particularly food inflation, is exploding in the United States. Now, what happens when inflation goes up? Well, normally the Federal Reserve would hike interest rates. This goes back to the ancient history of economics pre-printing press. Well, folks, the Fed's not going to be hiking rates or short-term rates. But the thing is, long-term interest rates, like the one we're seeing here on the 10-year government bond, that's not controlled by the Federal Reserve. That's controlled by Mr. Market. And bond yields, as you can see by that fat green candle on a weekly basis, bond yields are rising. Okay? Bonds hate inflation. Bonds hate indiscriminately handing out money and fiscal irresponsibility. Now, we don't want anybody out on the street. No one does. But the fact of the matter is, if there's a perception that the U.S. government is not financially responsible, bonds will go down and bond interest rates will go up. All right. So you might be saying, oh, okay, I get the 2018 bonds and crypto parallel, but I don't know. I'm not totally convinced. Okay, understandable. I wasn't either until I looked at this. This is the dollar index. Now, it's assumed worldwide that the dollar is basically going to zero, right? Bitcoin's going to 250K and the dollar is going to disappear. Conceptually, philosophically, I'm with you. Technically, chart-wise, though, I'm looking at this and I see this tremendous bottoming candle in the dollar. I see momentum indicators hinting that if interest rates rise and sort of a mini financial crisis in legacy ensues, that the dollar could also rise. Because remember, people don't just grab Bitcoin when there's a crisis. People actually grab the dollar in the legacy world. So what would happen if Bitcoin was massively overbought? Everyone was in love with it. The government hated it. And then something happened that made the dollar go up out of nowhere. Especially when you have risk of politicians and central bankers who are all taking office headed for the microphone. So I'm like, oh my God, if you got money in these trades, you better seriously thinking about taking it. Because obviously crypto is going to continue to go up, but that doesn't mean that in bull markets, you can't have a multi-day or multi-week shakeout. I mean, 10 days in crypto between now and the inauguration, or like 10 days before and 5 days after. I mean, 15 days of uncertainty in crypto, that's an eternity. That's an eternity. Okay, let's talk more about uncertainty and how we can manage it. Our Australian listeners will no doubt remember that some of the COVID restrictions that led to their successful quarantine and reduction in virus cases, part of that, I believe, in certain areas of the country where you couldn't travel more than 5 miles from your house to get supplies. So it wasn't just stay home, it was stay home and don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere far, okay? You get pulled over by the police and, you're more than 5 miles from your address. I'm assuming something not so good happened. I just saw an article that a new travel advisory is telling Californians to stay within 120 miles of their house, meaning the U.S. government may be entering a phase where some sort of freedom of movement is going to be limited. Okay. Americans are used to being able to go across state lines. They're used to being able to go wherever they want, say whatever they want. Okay. Well, I was going to talk about, hey, this could happen, hoping no one would think I was crazy. And here's the headline from California. So here's a question. What happens if Joe Biden takes the podium and says, The virus is out of control and America's closed. And you decide that you're going to go get on a highway the next morning and there's a tank on it. The road's closed. This is something that you have to think about that no one is talking about, which is a second shutdown. And this shutdown, okay, could last until all the healthcare workers and elderly people and first responders in the United States are vaccinated. And this, of course, assumes the vaccine even works. I'm not a doctor, but every day there's a new strain of this thing floating around. Now, the blogosphere sensationalizes it, but the fact of the matter is the numbers in the United States are appalling. They're out of oxygen tanks in Los Angeles. Frankly, if these virus numbers are true, if I was the president of the United States, I would start looking at COVID as a national security issue because that's how many people are getting sick. Okay. So this whole idea of a disturbance in capital markets, yes, central banks are going to continue to print money. Yes, crypto is the future. Yes, people have to use PayPal and the crypto in PayPal so that they can keep up with rising food prices. I get all that. Okay. At Bitcoin at 16 or 20K, it was kind of a no-brainer to be long. But with Bitcoin at 40K, with all this uncertainty picking up, you have to start asking yourself, is it time to take the money off the table so I can save it, so I can buy the dip in Ethereum or buy the dip in DeFi? Because as you know, we continue to believe, and we're assuming you believe it, that's why you're watching altcoin TV, is that the next big move is in decentralized finance, right? You know, if America is 1776 to 2021, rest in peace, the next thing, the next huge thing is decentralized finance. Okay, so speaking of some good news, let's talk Ethereum versus Bitcoin. I have been pounding the table with this chart for, I don't know, at least 3 months. Ethereum versus Bitcoin is making a major low. I think you are going to see a massive rally in Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Now, remember, this metric can go up in a lot of different ways. Like Ethereum could sit still and Bitcoin could retest 20,000. Because again, I know that sounds crazy, but 20,000 was such a huge all-time high. There's no reason why they can't flush Bitcoin out to say 32K. Now, I don't think it's going to go down to 20,000. Okay, but I didn't think anybody was going to storm the Capitol last week either. Okay. So Ethereum is going to do much better than Bitcoin. Big alts and anything in DeFi, which could be small alts that we don't know about yet, and from the Polkadot system, that's the next big trade. Now, one of those small alts, just so I can keep it happy, seems to be Ren, right? Ren continues to make this series of little ones and twos. It goes up, it pulls back, it goes up, it pulls back. And it's done it so many times that I'm almost like, I got to bring this up because it's almost like now or never, right? It's going to rally soon or it's not going to rally. The setup is great. Okay. And I do think Ren is a good story, both for DeFi on Ethereum, DeFi on Polkadot, and frankly, just DeFi everywhere. Because it's like a tollway between blockchains, okay, and the shuttle bus between Polkadot and Ethereum. So, if I'm doing DeFi, I'm watching this because it seems at least relatively stable. Now, let's go back to an old theme from the Santa broadcast and even before that, where I was discussing crypto and PayPal and things like Litecoin, which no one likes, and Bitcoin Cash, which no one likes, and XRP, which no one liked, and then they liked it, and then the government went after them, and Dash, which was, popular in Venezuela, but I pounded the table on that until I just couldn't talk anymore. lo and behold, these currencies exploded over the last week. Okay. Bitcoin Cash went to the target that I drew on a diamond of 600. And it basically did it all in a week. Okay. Now, part of me is like, well, it's just going to keep going. It's just going to smoke higher. Because when Bitcoin Cash goes on a face melting rally, it really melts faces. But the thing is, folks, with Bitcoin Cash, Sunday, January 10th, you were long something that went from 320 to 600 in a week. Should you take the money? Yes. Now, if I'm wrong and Bitcoin Cash goes back to its all-time high of like 1,500, in other words, if Bitcoin Cash goes Ethereum, then perhaps you can jump back in. But if you made money, take the money. Dash. Now, I have talked sometimes about the fact that everyone thinks bull markets are easy street. Like you just sit there and it goes up every day. And I guess the recent Bitcoin rally could lead you to believe that. But frequently, bull markets are such a pain in the ass, right? You'll know something's going up. You'll like it. You'll pound the table. You'll be like, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up. And then what it does is it shakes everyone out. I've talked about this. You know, everybody gets washed out. Everyone goes, oh, I'm stopped out. And then it goes. So Dash, right? Privacy coins are no good. Oh my God. And then the next thing you know, Dash turns around and goes to 200 and prints 200 on Coinbase, which is the target of a diamond formation, just like Bitcoin Cash. The theory, the future of money trade was done in, I talked about it for months and it happened in days. Now, if this market continues to go up or there's like an alt season, do I think Dash could go back to 200? Yes, I do. But am I going to jump in now? I don't think so, right? I mean, if I was long it at 80, I would wait, but would I chase it at 143? Probably not. Even though I know it's a part of the future of money, there's always a dip. Nothing goes straight up forever. Now, speaking of going straight up, here's the one we all, sort of, everyone loved to hate it. And then, I hated to love it, but I couldn't help it. I just loved Litecoin, right? Now, I haven't said much about Litecoin, but here on January 10th, I'm seeing Litecoin around 173. And it looks like Litecoin's put in a perfectly good double bottom and could take off for 275. Now, I know this is going to sound crazy. And if you bought a bunch of Litecoin at 70 and wanted to take the profit at 173, I wouldn't blame you. Take the money. But if you're a believer and if Bitcoin slows down, Litecoin has a mind of its own, right? I would be surprised if Litecoin went up while everything else went sideways or went down. So this is a nice way of telling you that Litecoin could go to 275. Bitcoin and Ethereum might move around sideways, lower, choppy. Oh my God, politics. But folks, people are going to log into PayPal and they're going to see Bitcoin at 35K a unit, Ethereum at 1,200 a unit, or Litecoin at 175 a unit. It's going to be, just unit bias in terms of people liking Litecoin. Plus, I think it's a question of time before you see coffee shops start accepting Litecoin. So I don't know that I want to necessarily chase any cryptocurrency right now, but if you're like Bill, you have to chase one coin or two coins or three coins. I would actually vote to buy Litecoin if it bursts through resistance I have at 180. Okay, now privacy coins on Sunday, January 10th have taken off. Okay. Everyone hated them. Now I guess everyone likes them again. And I just wanted to point out on this chart, the Monero price prediction that, I didn't think Monero was going to go this high, but honestly, if I look at the weekly chart, it could go to 206. So if there is a Monero price prediction, it's 206 if it keeps going. Now, always trying to find what's positive, right? Because, if Bitcoin does hold or if it takes out 40K again and we just all march on, I did notice that I think we had a pretty good quant grade on Binance Coin. And I noticed Binance Coin took out its high, came back and retested it. So this is wonderful news for anybody who thinks Bitcoin dominance is going to go down, because alts are going to go up, right? I would love to see 1,500 Bitcoin Cash and every DeFi blue chip follow it. So there's a lot of hope in Binance Coin because it broke the old high and then retested it successfully. So that's good news. All right, now the question everyone's going to ask, and everyone does ask, is what about XRP? Well, what can I say about XRP? Well, not much other than the chart, as in what I'm allowed to say. So once upon a time, before XRP took off, I was looking at this 30-cent level as the key level that XRP had to sort of take out in order to go up. Well, wouldn't you know, here we are, and XRP is right back at 30 cents. So if XRP is above 30 cents, the chart is okay. Now, what happens with its legal problems, I don't know. But there's a part of me that's wondering, gee, it's really interesting that it seems to hold this 30 cents level. You would think, oh my God, with these legal documents, it would be worse. So XRP, that whole idea of XRP being included in the future of money, obviously we're not doing that. I'm not doing that theme now because of the regulatory implications, but I'm going to leave you with one question about XRP. What happens if Ripple Inc. is actually able to settle the case and then reorganize XRP into something that is more favorable with the government, right? In other words, I know the case against XRP and Ripple is not good, but maybe there is such a thing as a positive resolution under a new administration. So if XRP can hold its ground, maybe that's positive for crypto as a whole. Okay, Polkadot, DeFi. Let's talk about it. As you can see on this chart, this is a 2-day chart of Polkadot. Now, it's been quite a wild range between 8.5 and 10.5, and this has been going on now for a week. And sometimes it looks like Polkadot's winding up, winding up, winding up, winding up. We had $9 as a target. We have resistance around 11.5, but Polkadot just keeps winding up, winding up, winding up. I think Polkadot can be at 14 by March. I think Polkadot can actually be a lot higher than that. Because let's face it, folks, DeFi is going to be so big. As soon as I saw all this stuff in Washington, D.C., I was like, decentralized finance. Not DeFi as in the casino where you roll the dice. No. Okay. I'm talking about decentralized finance being a mainstream investing idea. Now, in that case, ETH, DOT, Kusama, Cardano, all of these players, even Omisigo, all of these coins can go up. The question is, when do you get in? Do you chase it as it's going up over the next 15 days? My answer would be no. Let the political uncertainty do you a favor, perhaps give you a dip the way there was a dip this morning, right? Now, sometimes you only get one dip, and some days you get a dip that lasts 12 days that makes you cry if you didn't sell or take any profits. Both I have seen in bull markets in equities. I've seen these one-day flash events, and then I've seen these blowouts that occur over a couple of weeks. So this is something to consider if you've made life-changing money on this rally. So what's the bottom line? The bottom line is this. We're going to hope for the best. We're going to hope Bitcoin stays above 38K and ETH just smokes to the upside and takes every DeFi coin you could ever think of with it. That's hoping for the best. But we're going to prepare for the worst because in the United States, there's a lot of political uncertainty. There are a lot of people who are upset. There are a lot of problems with the virus. And Bitcoin and crypto are not immune from things that can cause problems in the American financial system. So be optimistic about 2021, but manage risk wisely. If you look at a position and say, should I take profits? You have answered your own question. And that's the market update.
All right. Thank you, Bill. That was amazing. Great way to kick off 2021.
Right on.
If you have any questions or comments, just post them down in the chat. We'll also be taking questions via Mentimeter. Let me share the code. So, actually, I already did share the code in the chat. But go to menti.com, menti.com. Use the code 1156238. That's 1156238 to submit your questions. And let's see what people have to see. VK says, I missed Bill's voice. Yep, I think we all did. Very soothing, especially in this climate. Baron says, fantastic, thank you. Thank you, Alpha Diallo. What's up, Sean? All right, Andre says, love Bill. All right, so if you enjoyed that market update, be sure to subscribe, turn on alerts, smash the like button, and share this video with the crypto family. As we mentioned before, make sure you get your crypto family or people who aren't even in crypto onto Noah's Ark, because this is the biggest wealth transfer in human history. And now is the best time to get people on board, because unfortunately people are more willing to come on board when they see Bitcoin go from 3,000 to 40K in less than 1 year, right? So now's the best time to get them on board. So definitely make sure you get them on board. And if you haven't yet already, you should also join Tokenmetrics and become a customer. Okay, all right. Okay, I want to do a quick announcement. So first of all, thank you to our community. We definitely could not be here without you. It's been now pretty much 13 months. Thank you to everybody. It's been a pleasure working with you all. We're glad to be here in 2021 and seeing the fruits of our labor. All of us have been here in crypto for a long time, and seeing Bitcoin from Black Thursday go from 3,000 to 40K, and now the whole world is basically piling in. Well, we've been here waiting for this moment. So this is the moment we've all been waiting for. I also want to quickly comment on the indices. Yes, we are aware there have been some issues with the indices. We apologize for the issue. Thank you all for the patience. It's been basically a growing problem. However, we do think now we have resolved the issue. So if you log in, the indices now are resolved regardless of what time zone you're in. And then to also make sure this issue basically goes away, we have hired 2 new engineers. One engineer will focus full time on just quality assurance, and the other engineer will basically focus on the indices, on ML, and everything else, right? So we're a small team, about 20 people, growing fast. Bitcoin went from, because last time we had this last year was on Christmas, pretty much the team, because our team is global. We have teams in London, India, all over America. We took some time off, right? And obviously during the holidays when people are with family and friends, and then when something breaks, there was basically a roadblock, right? So we definitely want to apologize to all our customers. If you had any issue with the indices where you could not access them or they weren't updating, just contact customer support and we will issue you a credit for the time where you weren't able to access the index. So if that's 1 month, we'll basically give you 1 month free. All you have to do is just open up a customer support ticket and let them know. I'm sorry. if you already had a support ticket, they can go through and issue you a credit, right? So want to make sure that anybody who's a customer is definitely making use of the indices. Okay, Bill, anything else to say on that?
Well, we appreciate everyone's business. We appreciate everyone's patience. I can remember interacting with our private group. We were on vacation, but the market wasn't. So I did everything possible to take care of our private group customers during the holidays. And we want to take care of all of our customers and our YouTube subscribers. So if you need our help, like I said, if you had a support ticket open, just know that, we appreciate your business and you're going to want to be with Token Metrics for 2021, because we're going to have indices, price predictions, and guidance from humans. And it's something that's not out there in the market today, except right here. So stay with us.
All right, thank you, Bill. Okay, hold on. So it seems some people have been having issues with the audio, and it's not affecting everybody, but I'm trying to figure out exactly what's going on here. So I think for people who are not using headphones, for some reason YouTube is doing something funky with the audio. Let me see if this changes it. Is this better, guys? Let me know. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you.
You can hear me? Yeah, I mean, because it seems not everybody's being affected, but it seems a small percentage of our audience on YouTube, for the most part. I think maybe those who have headphones or don't have headphones. I'm not sure whether it's something to do with whether they're playing it in stereo or mono sound or something. I don't know. But let us know if the audio is better. It's better? Okay. All right. All right. Let's go to the AMA. Okay. All right. So yeah, so audio is fine. So I'm not sure if you guys could help us diagnose the few people who are having issues, what's causing it. That would be great. Okay. Unfortunately, when we're going to do project reviews here. This is a question that gets asked all the time. Right? What is the next 100x token? I mean, okay, you guys ask this question all the time. We'll try to answer this all the time. Because honestly, the next 100x token, in my opinion, is Ethereum. Yes, it's not sexy, it's not flashy, but first of all, those who've been watching our show for a while know that I'm almost an Ethereum maximalist. And I think that's probably a new term the community needs to coin, right? I know there are lots of Bitcoin maximalists out there, but I'm basically an Ethereum / altcoin maximalist. And everybody was getting on me for not having any Bitcoin. And yes, definitely don't do what I'm doing, but I just believe in Ethereum so much and the whole Ethereum ecosystem that I believe Ethereum is going to surpass Bitcoin in market cap eventually. I mentioned the data points. Right now, Bitcoin has about 230 monthly active developers. Ethereum has 10x the number of that, 2,300 monthly active developers and growing. DeFi is just getting started. We're going to DeFi 2.0. And one thing I want to kind of showcase here, let's actually go to CoinGecko. So even though Bitcoin has been having a great year, the last 12 months of Bitcoin have been great, you still would have been better off, theoretically, putting your money in Ethereum than putting it in Bitcoin. Even though Bitcoin is great technology and all that, here, let me pull up the two. So if we go to the ROI, where is this? So in 1 year, if you are holding Bitcoin, you basically made 392%. That sounds good in theory, but if you were in Ethereum, you would have made 820%. So pretty much 2x. So if somebody is holding purely Ethereum, are they really worse off, right? Anyway, I'll let our community answer. Tell us what you think down below. Would you rather hold Ethereum or Bitcoin long term? But if you had to ask me what's the next 100x coin, factoring in risk and everything, I think it's a no-brainer. It's Ethereum, because Ethereum is just getting started. I think 5 years, 10 years from now, Ethereum will definitely 100x from here. So that's kind of like my safe play. If you had to ask me, are there any other like low cap coins? Same ones I keep talking about. I like synthetics. I do own that. I'm staking that. I like Matic Network. That one recently began to move, but it's still outside the top 100 market cap. I have some P Network, but that one is a lottery. It's very, very high risk, not for everybody. But if you like high risk, high reward, worth looking into, not investment advice. And I like Helium. Bill, how about you? What coins do you think could 100x?
Okay, so I am doing more and more homework to try to be able to answer these questions because I'm like the big cap macro guy, but I got to go degen. I know. I'm working on it. Let's try VeChain, right? The VeChain chart is just, I look at it and I go, you know, can this thing really do what this chart implies it could do, right? Like what happens if VeChain becomes something like monstrous? You know what I'm saying? Like what happens if VeChain develops something in a niche that goes from being a niche to a standard? I mean, it's trading at 2.5 cents. So for it to 100x, if I do the math, is that what, $25? Chainlink's trading at 17, 15, 16, that zone. What if VeChain does what Chainlink does? Now, I, along with Ian, have sat here since 2019, pounding the table on Ethereum. Like, how can Ethereum be worth 200? How can Ethereum be worth 300? Like, Ethereum's at 500, it's still undervalued. It's at 1200, it's still undervalued. But here's an idea. If Ethereum goes where we think it's going to go, then the Polkadot universe has to follow, right? In other words, if Ethereum is going to become as big as Bitcoin, DeFi is going to become almost like a parallel banking system. It's going to be a finance system, decentralized, right? That's how I like to say it when I want to get mega bullish. I go, well, it's DeFi. Yeah, that's what you say if you're at a cool cocktail party for crypto types, you know, back when they had cocktail parties. Okay, but if you say a financial system that is decentralized, Polkadot going from 9 to 900 is not out of the question. I mean, ETH is at 1,000. So if there's a second DeFi highway and all the things and all the growing pains that ETH had in DeFi are not repeated in DOT, then DOT and that ecosystem can 100x.
All right, well said, Bill. Well said. Let's check in here with our audience and see what they have to say in the comments. Okay, people are saying VeChain family. Okay, Jason says Ethereum over Bitcoin. All right, but anyway, I mean, that's my 100x coin, because people really have to understand Ethereum is just getting started. We've been beating the drum on Ethereum, but Ethereum version 2 has not launched. And if once 2.0 launches, we could say 90% of other blockchains are obsolete, because Ethereum already has the most developers building on it, has the most applications on it. And once it scales, all these other blockchains promising to be the next Ethereum or to have faster transaction speed, they're all dead on arrival. So I think maybe the only other hedge, if you wanted to hedge Ethereum, would be maybe Blockstack, because Blockstack is launching Stacks 2.0 on the 14th, which is actually this coming week. And they're bringing applications on Bitcoin. So that would possibly give Bitcoin a chance to maybe not get dethroned by Ethereum. So maybe let's toss in Stacks as one other possible 100x coin. But those are mine. But definitely tell us what you think down below. What coin do you think can 100x next? All right, let's take a look here. Okay, so people want us to take a look at this project called Ramp, RAMP. Bill, if you could pull up that for TA. It is trading on Uniswap and MXC, but I think Uniswap. So yeah, Uniswap is where you have to chart this coin.
Okay, I'm calling it up now.
All right.
Okay, here it comes. Okay, so Ramp, very interesting name for a coin after the famous equities Twitter guy, Ramp Capital. So what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at something that just simply absolutely took off as soon as Ethereum stopped going up, right? So it looks like the bulls were chomping at the bit. So it's January 10th. This is a very short-term chart. It's only my 89-minute chart, only because there's not a lot of history for this. So what I can tell you is the second Ethereum stopped going up, Ramp moved, because it's traded versus wrapped ETH on Uniswap. So my conclusion from this is somebody wants it. Somebody wants to own this. So this looks like one of these small alts that's going to benefit from a big cap pause.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Okay, so back to the show. All right. More questions on Ethereum. Okay, just give me 1 second here. Okay, can Ethereum hit $20,000 in 2021? Wow, that's a tough question. So that's basically about a 16, 18x, because current price of Ethereum is $1,200. So basically, can Ethereum do a 15 to 20x in 2021? You know what? I mean, I think anything is possible in crypto. Anything is possible, especially if Ethereum becomes the next play in 2021 for institutions, because we've seen what happens when every institution has to FOMO into Bitcoin. Bill's called this the Santa Rally, where every institution and fund had to show that they have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Otherwise, they'll be out of a job. And for those who missed Bitcoin, we think Ethereum could be the next big play, right? Obviously, Ethereum is launching the futures market this year in Feb, next month. And that could be an inflection point. I mean, technically, the price could go down because now institutions can short Ethereum, kind of like what happened with Bitcoin back in early 2018. And when they launched the market, actually, sorry, that was December 2017. Then after that pretty much began the decline of Bitcoin in price. But I'm not sure if the same will happen with Ethereum, because we're in a bull run and this is just the beginning. So I think this is possible. Bill, how about you?
Okay, so I think what we're talking about here is we're asking ourselves, like, what is the most realistically kind of insane price target for Ethereum? Like what is, like what is achievable based on charts and the general philosophy that, ETH rules, right? So I smashed up some GAN lines here, and it looks like, if ETH went crazy, it would be 12K. Sorry, not 12X, 12K. So January 10th, 2021, Sunday, the Ethereum price prediction, okay, if I wanted to use my imagination and think big, I would say 12K. If you remember, there was a lot of action in Bitcoin around 13K, right? Matter of fact, I would like to make a joke that it looks like 37K is the new 13K, where, you know, Bitcoin keeps going there and it goes above it, but then it comes back down and there's sort of a dance. I think ETH could do the exact same thing. You know, ETH used to trade for pennies and then it went to 1,000. So there's no reason it can't trade for 1,200 and then go to 12K. Now, again, the question is, when do you get involved? Do you get involved right this second? Or do you let the market come to you and let some of this uncertainty and volatility, okay, give you some good entry prices on these flushes, right? Because we don't know what equities are going to do. You know, a major flush in Bitcoin, Ethereum may do better on a relative basis, but you may get an opportunity to get in. So yeah, ETH can go to 12K this year. It can also chop up anybody who thinks they're going to just blindly do that trade right now and have it just moon, right? Like what's our joke? You know, we open up the account on Monday, we fund it on Tuesday, we buy it on Wednesday, we sell it on Thursday, and then we're at the Lambo dealer on Friday in time to drive the car on Saturday for your date. Okay,
Man,
that is
must be a hot date.
that's, you know, that is the progression in the mind of the crypto trader and investor. We acknowledge that, okay, but we also want to say, if we're going to talk Ethereum price targets that are way above where we're at now, you have to remember, just like Dash going to 200, you know, it had to go from 120 to 80, stop everyone out before it went. The same thing can happen in Ethereum, whether we're talking about Ethereum going to 2K or 12K. So just keep that in mind during political uncertainty around inaugurations.
Okay, all right. Somebody has a question to follow up on that for Ethereum. What would it take for Ethereum to go down? Basically for an Ethereum dump.
Okay, good question. So we've already hinted that institutions may come in and say, I'm going to be long Bitcoin, short Ethereum. So if I was a hedge fund person and I thought Bitcoin was going to 250,000 because DeFi was going to get done on Bitcoin and everything else was going to be left in the dust, I would be long Bitcoin spot or long some sort of levered Bitcoin product and short Ethereum futures at the CME, right? Just the same way everybody came in 2017 and said, oh God, I'm going to short this thing. All the conventional hedge fund traders that didn't do crypto could get short. So what creates an Ethereum dump is, you know, if people decide to do that kind of a trade. Will they? I would say no, but that doesn't mean it can't create a 10-day Ethereum dump.
All right, so Bill has spoken. Let us know what you think. What do you think? What do you think Ethereum can go? What's your most insane Ethereum price prediction? Is it 12K? Is it 20K? Or are you bullish? Do you think Ethereum could crash? Let us know what you think down below in the comments. Okay, all right. Let's get back to the AMA. People were asking, does Bill read the comments? I mean, it's hard to multitask when he's doing TA and go through all the comments. Let me bring this up here.
I guess the big question is, does Bill is Bill brave enough to read the comments? That's you know.
Okay. All right. Next question is about IDOs, initial DEX offerings. I mean, we don't really cover those because they're very risky. People can get wrecked. You can get rug pulled. So definitely don't really want to touch too much on this because we're trying to keep our audience away from getting wrecked, basically. Long story short. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to skip this and this. Yeah, I mean, so I would say definitely don't. I mean, if you're going to, okay, I'll make this as quick as I can. When it comes to investing in ICOs, in IDOs, it's the same thing. IDOs are just your new spin on ICOs and IEOs, except it's happening on a DEX. But you have to be careful that we're seeing, especially in times like this, in a bull run when everything is going up, we're seeing lots of people who are just FOMOing and they're throwing caution out the window. For example, there was a story of somebody who put in 50% of their money into one coin. This coin, after a while, became illiquid and they basically lost all their money. So they lost half of their life savings in one coin, which is something that you never want to happen. And then once that happens, then they basically got back to the corner and they're trying to make their money back by becoming even more aggressive. And then they bet the remaining money into some other low cap coin and end up losing all their money very quickly, right? And you always want to make sure you guys are staying rational and sound and smart when it comes to investing. Never FOMO into anything. Always be cautious, be conservative. That's why we have the indices. The indices are a guideline. Obviously, they aren't perfect, but even though an index might go down 30%, 40%, it's spreading the risk over several assets, over several coins, as opposed to losing all your money on just one coin, right? Which is what we don't want people to do, right? So that's why we have the indices. And the indices are also conservative. Even though we are launching a degen index soon this month, based on customer feedback, even with things like that, though, they'll be in an index form holding at least 10 cryptocurrencies, because the old adage is true. When it comes to trading or investing, you want to live to fight another day. And if you're putting all your money in one coin or in two coins, you're going to get wrecked regardless, right? And with IDOs, anything can happen. And I think the general rule would be don't put more than 1 to 2% of your portfolio. Treat it like a trade. Have an entry and exit. Put at most 1 to 2% of your portfolio. And I think you will always minimize any possible blowback. But if anybody out there is putting in more than 10% of their portfolio into an IDO, you're going to get wrecked. That's kind of my take on that. Bill?
Okay, so let's take human psychology, right? So Bitcoin and Ethereum go up. It means, people who have either been in crypto a long time, or people who hodl, or, people who were lucky enough to jump in on PayPal, whatever. Some people out there made a lot of money. Now, in the mind of a crypto trader who missed out, everyone in the whole world except them was in on it. You were the only one who missed it. Everyone else got it, but you missed it. And as a result of that, you got to get involved. You got to get something. I am not going to be on a Zoom call without saying I 2x'd my money in crypto. And then you go, oh, look, it's an initial DEX offering. It's a small coin. Oh my God, look, it's going to go 20x. Oh, look, somebody else is buying it. This is my big chance because I missed it. So now I can redeem myself because I'm the only person who's not a millionaire because Bitcoin went up. Now, do you see the folly in the thinking? Okay. You're right on time. You're not too early. You're not too late. You're right on time, right where you're supposed to be. So if someone offers you junk and said, oh, if you eat this junk, you'll feel better about not getting to crypto in time for Bitcoin. We just talked about ETH going to, I don't know, 2K, 12K, 100X. You're right on time. So yeah, if you want to play in an IDO and you're experienced or you're not experienced, you want to bet a small amount and the casinos are closed and you want to put 1% of your money on it, great. Just don't tell yourself some story that, oh, well, I got to catch up to everyone else, because that's where you get ended. There will always be another trade. The president will be inaugurated on the 20th. We're going to know what fiscal and monetary policy are in 30 days. Okay? You're right on time. You're going to get to take advantage of volatility. We're going to get involved in small cap coins. Token Metrics is going to help you. But the one thing that you have to do is make sure you've got capital to play. So check yourself so you don't wreck yourself, so that Token Metrics can help you get where you want to go.
Yeah, please don't take any L's, especially in a bear market. Please do not take any L's, as the song goes. And for those who are curious, we do have Token Metrics crypto music that is great to play, especially now as we're in a bull run. Go to tokenmetrics.com/music and check it out. We're on Spotify, iTunes, pretty much anywhere you can get music. All right, on to the next question. When do you think the current bull run will end? Great question. Great question. Bill, what do you think?
Okay, well, it depends what we call the current bull run. The way I want to do this is we've had the Santa rally. That comes from equities. Then we've had the January effect. So like that is folklore for whatever happens in the first trading week of January will determine how the year goes. So if it's up the first week of January, it's up for the year. And I think these things now apply to crypto, because all the guys that were moving equities around based on this folklore are now playing in Bitcoin. So the next one coming up is sell in May and go away, which means in May you sell, you go on a vacation, and you come back for the summer rally in July. So if we're going to have a 2-month interruption, it'll probably be then. All bets are off if you start to see geopolitical tensions. So if someone is asking me, hey, Bill, like, what could just end this, right? Like, is there a crash and burn scenario? Yeah, it would be, instead of storming the Capitol, nations and governments start fighting again, each other. I've heard a lot of parallels to 1937. I don't put a lot of credence in it. I don't study it the way other people study it. But, obviously, as you can tell, people are sort of in a mood to fight. So as long as there's no war, I think we're okay. And I'm going to stick with sell in May and go away.
All right. So I kind of shared this on the last live stream as well, but I'll go through it again. So even though it's not the best sample size, if we look at the history of Bitcoin after the halving, every bull market has lasted longer than the last, right? So if we go back all the way to 2011, the first Bitcoin bull market was 243 days, and the next one was 368, then 525. So if we're looking at the next Bitcoin bull run, I think it has to be larger than 525 days. Now, depends on when exactly we begin, right? But if we begin from May 14 to 2020, right? I think we're basically looking at almost 2 years, right? So I think maybe all the way up until definitely all of 2021. And then all the way maybe up until early 2022. Obviously, this is not too scientific, but I think so far things have played out pretty well looking at this chart. The one thing to note though, the ROI on Bitcoin has also been lower with every bull market, right? So here, Bitcoin went up basically 177x. Then over here, it went up to 92x, then 29x. And then from here, what's Bitcoin's price in May? It was, but anyway, Bitcoin has already exceeded my expectations. And I think almost anybody, if you ask anybody, would Bitcoin be at 40K this fast? I don't think we saw this coming, but we're definitely not complaining. But because of this, because I mean, maybe because I've used this chart before in the past, last year, to say that I think Bitcoin would be around 45 to 50K, but it's already there right now. But maybe that becomes the new base and support for Bitcoin. Maybe after it goes, let's say Bitcoin goes to 200K and comes back and crashes at 50K. Kind of like how we did back in 2017, 2018. It went all the way up to 19K, came back down to 3K. 3K was support, and then it bounced back, right? So maybe 45, 50K is the new support long term. But this is also why I'm more bullish on Ethereum, because Bitcoin, while it's great, it's gonna, every bull market, it does not go up as much as the last bull market. So if we're really trying to make a lot of money, we have to look at other altcoins, right? So Ethereum and the market, basically Ethereum and the field. But this is kind of my take on it. So long story short, this bull run could last, I think, easily 2 years or longer. Any other comments on that, Bill?
You know, the next big inflection point politically, which I think is going to be a big driver for crypto, could be the November election in 2022. You might also expect that the virus problem might get worse and they may not be able to get a handle on it until 2022. So the virus and all of the government's financial irresponsibility that they've had to do in response to the virus, yeah, it makes sense. Everyone expects the bad things to go away and they don't. And that benefits crypto for a year or a year and a half.
All right. So let us know what you think down in the comments below. Do you believe, or rather, when do you think the bull run will end? Tell us the exact day and time down below, and let's see who's right. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. So people want Bill to do TA on Solana. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so as Bill pulls that up, be sure to go to tokenmetrics.com and subscribe. We do have price predictions on Solana, and over 500 cryptocurrencies. We'll be launching 6,000 cryptocurrencies very, very soon. So definitely make sure you go there and join. And Bill, let me know when you're ready.
Okay, coming up right here. Okay. There's a lot of these out there, namely things that just everyone gave up on and then they just suddenly moon, right? I call this a repricing. So this is Solana, and it's January 10th, 2019. Now, with Solana, this looks like someone means business, right? Like this right here is a colossal give up. I mean, colossal. And what does a give up mean? That means that everyone who ever liked Solana, right, if they didn't give up here, which they didn't, they definitely gave up here. And then, not knowing anything about this, whatever the original reasons were for Solana to go from $150 to $5, they have apparently reemerged. So all of the people who got out of Solana in this range, all of the people that puked it, they all want back in. And when it comes to these small coins, like I have kind of a different attitude. Like I don't want to chase the big coins because I have some concerns about politics over the next 10 days. It's not unreasonable, right? Just take some money off the table and chill out. But with these little coins, particularly if Bitcoin is going to go in a range between say 30 and 40, okay, this stuff can go up a lot. There's no reason Solana can't make a new high and do like what Synthetics did and go to 7. There's no reason this can't do another 2x. Now, I don't want to be a moon boy, but if you see a small coin that's got momentum, especially as the other big coins are going down or range trading, this would be an indication to me that those small coins have got some sort of value proposition or there's demand there that's pent up, right? Because nobody wants to get involved in an altcoin when bulldozer Bitcoin is just plowing everybody over. But as soon as Bitcoin and ETH stop for a minute, you got to pay attention and take note and probably jump in on a dip on anything that's moving like Solana.
Okay, so to also add on to that, I'm actually surprised Solana is moving this much, because I was reading on Twitter in the last few days or so that they were having one of the biggest token unlocks. I think it was like almost 90% of the supply was being unlocked. Maybe can somebody confirm that in the comments? So I would expect a dump, right? So the fact that it's pumping is very, very surprising. I'm not sure whether that's because people are just highly into the project or whether there's some kind of artificial support through market makers or somebody in the market or a big investor or something. I don't know. But anyway, even our price prediction is bullish on Solana. It basically has Solana going all the way up until 447. Basically up until 450 and going sideways for a bit. Now, this is a rolling price prediction. It does update every single day. So definitely make sure you log into the site. And also, if you are on the investor plan or the professional plan, we do have private alerts now available. So just go here on the left and choose to follow the coin. So if you do that here, it will, okay, guess my browser broke. Okay, anyway, I'll do that later. But anyway, that's the price prediction for Solana. Let us know what you think. Where do you think Solana is going? Do you think it's going higher? Let us know down below. Okay. Looks like my Safari is bugging out, but let's go back to the AMA. Okay, so here's a question. Somebody wants us to look at WISE, W-I-S-E, Bill. So actually, as Bill pulls this up, our team did look at WISE token. We did do a code review that we emailed out to our customers. So if you're a customer, just check your email from last week on the last code reviews. It was a pretty decent project, but go through the code review. And then Bill, let me know when you're ready.
Okay, is this W-I-S-E?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to switch to a different chart program here because it didn't come up, or at least it came up and it was very strange. So let me.
Yeah. This is a new coin. It has been pretty popular in the last few weeks or so. Well, actually, I guess in the last 1 week, because someone's been trading for a week. It looks like on CoinGecko.
Right. So it's not Wise Pass, right? It's just Wise Token.
Uniswap. Yeah. So I think you have to pull up Dex Tools or something to find this. All right. So as Bill is doing that, let me pull up the site here. So the site is wisetoken.net. So it says stake Wise to earn more ETH. Wise is a unique staking platform leveraged unprecedented 76%. Okay. Looks like they're doing all kinds of things here. But anyway, we won't really do a project review. We'll just do the TA on this. Let me check the comments.
All right, I've got some technical difficulties here, but I'm going to pull up the chart that I do have on TradingView. It's got this really odd gap on it. Let me. Because this could be one of these coins that rebalances itself. Could that be? Here's what the.
Okay.
So this is like a 15-minute chart. Say, let's pull a 15-minute chart up. Okay, it looks like, it went up a lot, obviously, from and then all of a sudden it just kind of gapped down and crashed. I'm not sure what happened. My initial thoughts, until I can do further research on this. Oh, wait, here we go. Wait. I found it on the DEX tools. Let me see if I can. Okay, here we go. I got it. Okay, so this is a classic case of what we've been talking about being careful. Okay, so it looks like Wise on a 15-minute chart. Okay. It looks like this went from 45 cents to $1. Okay. And I've definitely seen this type of price action before. Okay. Where something will run up like this. And then you will see, okay, the box and then the triangle. So here is the box. Okay. And then here is the triangle up here. Okay. Now, the big question is, can this find support, or was this a classic pump and dump high volume exit point where they pumped it, and then they just unloaded it all on retail? Okay, normally when you see the square and then the triangle, assuming it stops going lower, that's a big assumption. So assuming this is not a pump and dump, my guess is it should hold, say, 65 cents. So if it holds 65 cents, you can say, all right, this might be worth a shot. Or if it flashes below 65 cents and then comes back above it, yes. I would wait for this to prove itself. We saw this in the graph where it mooned and then it sort of slumped. And even though, we've got a great rating on the graph, it's still got to prove itself, right? Because you don't want to be one of these people that gets dumped on like whoever got dumped on right here. If you bought this at $1 thinking it was going to $5, somebody unloaded on you. So if you want to buy the dip, okay. If you want to try to get the hot coin, okay. Just don't wreck yourself in the next 15 days. If you're frustrated, walk away. Just close the computer, go watch football. Ohio State is playing soon. Don't get wrecked. If you like this coin, wait until it goes down and then starts going back up again before you determine when to jump in. Don't catch the falling knife.
Now, to also chime in on that, now I'm not done too much of a deep dive on Wise, but our team did do a code review. But my understanding is they're basically copying the hex model. It's basically a form of hex, but decentralized, right? Without having Richard Hart as the face of the project, and it's kind of trying to do a lot of things. But we're not saying this project has no potential. I mean, because the code review was pretty decent. But if you're up take some profits. Take some profits. As Bill always says, nobody got fired taking profits, right? Especially if there's ever a correction, because you have to understand in crypto, there's always a flavor of the month. Like last year, we had Chainlink, we had XRP in December. Chainlink was in August. Then in July, it was that project that I forgot about it too. Amperforth, right? There are always those
Right.
flavors of the month. So
Right.
if
There's
this
always
is
there's a
the
new
flavor of the
Bitcoin
month,
every month.
yeah, right. And I think one of the best, most underrated quotes from Bill of all time was when Amperforth dumped, right? I think Bill's quote was like, people were calling this the new Bitcoin. Then a week later, they're saying, is this going to zero? Something like that. I forget the exact quote, but that happens all the time in crypto, especially with altcoins, right? So if you're up, always take some profits. Whether it's just your initial or whatever, cash out. Don't sell everything, but take some money out so that way you're with house money. So tell us what you think about Wise. What's your target? Down below in the comments. Okay, all right, let's get back to the AMA. Okay, people want us to look at NEO. Is the sleeping giant of 2017 NEO going back to all-time high? It is feeless, environmentally friendly, and fast. How much could it move? Okay, all right. We're gonna have Bill pull that up. Let me also pull up NEO here on Token Metrics. Now, I'm not sure if there's been any fundamental changes in NEO. I know last time we covered it last year in depthly, they were talking about NEO 3.0. I'm not sure what the status is on that, whether it's launched or if anybody's using it at all. But all these projects always seem to move in cycles, where they lay dormant for a while, they make some big announcement, then they begin to pump and rally. All right, let me know when you're ready, Bill.
Okay, here comes the chart. Okay, so January 10th, Sunday. What is the NEO price prediction? Well, folks, as we say at Token Metrics, the bigger the base, the higher into space. So what has NEO done since 2018? Nothing. It's traded between 5 and 20 and broke everyone's heart the way it broke everyone's heart in Ethereum. We all sat and waited, and I'm sure there's people in NEO who are sitting and waiting going, is now the time? So I will give you some good news. I'm not wearing the Santa suit anymore, but I will say good things about NEO. Okay. No one likes NEO, and it's been working to buy stuff that no one likes. Stellar mooned. Now, I like Stellar. That's IBM. Okay. But if Stellar can moon, if Cardano can go up, if Polkadot can 100x, all of these other DeFi highways, I mean, yes, we do think that Ethereum is going to be the biggest thing ever, but there isn't just one highway or way into Manhattan, right? You can go George Washington Bridge, Lincoln Tunnel, Holland Tunnel, ferry, helicopter, airplane. DeFi could have more than one highway, right? It could be Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, NEO. Now, you might say, okay, Bill, that's ridiculous. That's pretty much going to be ETH. It's winner take all. It's software. I'm not sure you've heard. This is a technology industry. I get it. I get it. But in the meantime, if Stellar can go and Cardano can go, and I don't know, EOS went for like a day, then NEO can go as well. You know, next week, I haven't looked at the chart, but somebody will call in for Tron, right? So any of these altcoins that are in this, like, you know, DApp space or might be in the DApp space, I mean, I think you can run DApps on Bitcoin Cash. So if all this stuff is just going to go, well, the bigger the base in Neo, the higher in the space. It can go to 70. You know, I just don't think it's going to 70 right now, but you never know. Kramer, I think Kramer's famous saying now applies to crypto. There's always a bull market somewhere. So if Bitcoin and Ethereum stop, right, Dash and privacy coins took off out of nowhere. Everyone hated them, and then everyone loved them. Neo, same thing. No one likes it. It goes up. Icon, all these. I haven't looked at Icon. Tron, I haven't looked at it. But guess what? Someone's going to look at it because, you know, if this theme takes off, there's always a bull market somewhere.
All right. That is music to my ears. We like bull markets. All right. So let us know what you think about Neo down below. Okay. All right. Back to the AMA. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to see questions we haven't really covered. Yeah, so for those who are asking questions about the indices, we put out a statement earlier, but basically contact support and we'll issue you credit for the unused time, for the time where the indices were not working. So, we've also resolved the issues, but a few people might still be having the issues, right? So that being said, we'll be giving credits to those who are affected by the indices not updating. Okay, let me go to the YouTube comments instead. Okay, so Alpha Diallo with a super chat. He wants us to look at bonded finance. Bonded finance, Bill, if you could pull that up.
Okay, is that bond versus wrapped ETH on Uniswap? Is that the symbol?
Yes, I believe so. Let me just confirm. Actually, it looks like there are two bonds. Let me. Uniswap, yeah, bond and ETH, bond ETH.
So it's not Uniswap, it's something different?
Uniswap, yes, yeah.
Uniswap versus wrapped ETH, okay. All right, so let me
see if I can get the exact link here.
I just want to make sure we get the right token.
Yeah, so many tokens now are using the same.
Right. There's Bondly and then there's just Bond.
Yeah, so just Bond.
Okay.
The logo is like a circle, kind of stop sign, circle with a square in the middle, white square in the middle.
All right, I see it. I have it here. Okay, coming up here. Okay, here we go. All right. So this is Bond USD. Whoops.
Wait, Bond USD?
No, I'm sorry. Bond ETH on Uniswap.
Okay.
No. This says Bond USD. Hang on. Okay, that looks like Bond versus ETH now. Okay, I'm going to switch to something more reliable. I don't want to give people the wrong information. Okay, so this is TradingView. This is Bond versus wrapped ETH on Uniswap. Okay. Now, this is very interesting. a lot of times we're getting asked to look at tokens that have gone up a lot. This is a case where it looks like someone's asking about a token that's gotten sort of destroyed. And the question is probably, should I give up on this because I maybe bought it at a higher price? Now, I don't know anything about the fundamentals of this, but I do know that this is really interesting. That this is has been hammered so badly, right? Like that on like a 3 or a 4 hour chart. Okay. It looks like, you know, this might be a value play, particularly if ETH is going to be relatively stable around its all-time high, the way Bitcoin was stable around its all-time high. Now, again, how many days have you got to buy this? I don't know. I do a trade and give it 10 days. Because, you know, this isn't going up if ETH is going up. Okay. If ETH is going to get relentless on the upside like we think it is, any pair against ETH is going to get wrecked. However, if you were going to try something and if you wanted to buy something that was destroyed, AKA a value play, this is somewhat interesting because it looks like people kind of gave up. And I think it's even more interesting, assuming this chart is accurate, that it looks like there was some sort of price gap right around where this is trading. So it's almost like this whole decline was filling a gap if this chart from TradingView, is correct. So, you know, if you wanted to take a shot at something was destroyed, if you're trapped in that, I don't see the harm in giving it another 10 days.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Let's move on to the next one. I'm trying to find some good questions here. Okay, Bitcoin correcting now. If so, what's the target? Can we go to 34K or lower? What's the downside on Bitcoin?
Okay, great question. Conveniently, I have an answer. Okay, so obviously I'm tracking this every day for our customers. Okay, so this is a Bitcoin chart. This is a Bitcoin 4-hour chart. All right. So obviously, since this is short term, anybody who's maybe watching this later on YouTube, it may be dated because it's a short-term chart. This is how I'm thinking about Bitcoin January 10th, Sunday. If Bitcoin is below 38K, I'm using 38K as like a pivot. It's actually worked rather well. So if Bitcoin's above 38K, then you can be bullish and expect Bitcoin to go up. If Bitcoin is below 38K, you want to be careful and you might expect Bitcoin to go down. Now, if Bitcoin does go down and, you know, if there is any such thing as Bitcoin going down anymore, I don't know because they're draining all the supply out. But if somebody says something negative about Bitcoin, I think the support is at 32K. Okay, 32K, if you look right here, that was the last big battle between the bulls and the bears before it launched to 40K. So it can, you know, it can revisit that hot zone. So even if you're watching this 2 weeks from now, 38K, if Bitcoin's above that, it's probably going to 40 or 45. If it's below 38K, you have to be careful of the flush, right? Like bull markets will flash crash. And then when people get used to the flash crash, like, you know, we had it Thanksgiving, we had it Christmas. I think we skipped New Year's, but we had it this morning. So this morning was all the way down, all the way back, and now it's down again. So you had 3 flash crashes, and then frequently when everyone goes, oh, it was just a flash crash. Oh, don't worry about it. That's when you got to look out, especially with politicians hitting the tape. Again, some spooky person that we couldn't see shot a civilian trying to go through a door inside the U.S. Capitol. Not the Capitol, not some building in Fallujah in a war zone. The U.S. Capitol. Americans in tears watching on television. These things can change the way people feel about markets. Value is a perception. Crypto, bonds, equities, foreign exchange, is not a video game. It's not Xbox. Even though there's computers and AI and algorithms, at the end of the day, human beings need to make some sort of decision as to whether or not they're going to buy and sell. So, can 32K happen? Yes. Can we have a 15 to 20 day blowout in crypto? Absolutely. Now, am I bearish? No. Do I want to have cash ready in case there's a dip? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because if there's a big dip or blowout on political uncertainty, war, oh my God, from Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or Janet Yellen, I want to buy the dip. The only question is, how big's the dip? I get the sense it's going to be a little bit bigger than it has been, or it could last longer. You know, you could have this like slow slump because people FOMO'd in. And the only way to have a healthy bull market, unfortunately, is to sort of hurt anybody who FOMO'd in and bought at any price because they were upset because they missed it. I get it. You're upset. That's why we had this live stream. We used to have a segment called Crypto Therapy. We stopped having the segment because the whole show's Crypto Therapy now. Right? So
yeah.
All right. So yeah, 32K, that's the level I'm looking at. If you were looking to buy Bitcoin and you missed it and you'd like a juicy buying opportunity, then I think that's the juicy buying opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Bill. That was great. Okay. All right. Let's move on to, let's find a different question we can answer. Okay, sorry, this is just taking a while. Okay, next one is Avalanche, AVAX. So I did see this pumping recently. So we'll have Bill do tea on that. And let me check with the comments and see how we're doing. If you're enjoying the stream, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, share this with your friends. Also be sure to join us at Tokemetrics. We're thinking of possibly adding one additional live stream every single week just for our customers. This will be probably on the site, so stay tuned. We're still trying to sort out how to make it work, but it would likely be during the weekday, just on the Tokemetrics site. So if you're a customer and you think this is something that you would tune in for, tell us down below in the comments. Tell us if it's a great idea.
Okay, AVAX coming up.
All right.
Okay, so as I understand it, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think AVAX is in a way connected to sort of like Polkadot on DeFi, maybe, or DeFi Polkadot is somehow connected to how well AVAX can do. Okay, you're going to just watch me chart it as we sit here. I'm just looking for something. Okay, my inclination to chase something that has already gone up, I really don't want to do that. Okay, that said, in this particular coin, okay, if it goes from 2.5 to 7, and then it retraces back to say its old high at 5, right? If there's a dip to either 5 or maybe 6, okay, it may be worth it to take a shot at this coin, okay? Because I watched this thing move, believe it or not. Where did I learn about AVAX? From our private group. One of the things about our private group is that everybody involved makes each other smarter. So somebody was talking about AVAX. Someone asked me about the chart. I looked at the chart. I'm like, oh my God, this is going up. I went on a TV program. The guy asked me for my #1 pick. I told him AVAX. It went up for 3 days. Was that because I was a genius? No, it's because I was a part of a community that collectively, you know, everybody just makes each other smarter. So end of token metrics commercial, AVAX, January 10th. I say buy the dip at either 6 or 5.
All right, thank you, Bill. Let us know what you think about AVAX down below in the comments. Okay, wow, we have 55 questions. We cannot get through all of them, so let me just, okay, so let's get back to Bitcoin, since I think we are in a pretty big inflection point here. So question for Bill again. I could not understand, did he say not to hold Bitcoin before the president switch? Basically the inauguration.
Okay.
How should people play Bitcoin?
Okay. 1, no FOMO. So if you're going to buy Bitcoin between now and January 20th, buy a dip. Okay. So I'm not telling you not to hold Bitcoin. I'm telling you not to buy Bitcoin as it's rising. So buy Bitcoin on a down day, not an up day. That would be my general strategy. Bigger picture, I think they can actually wash it out to say 32 or 34K. So the way to play it is if you own it, take some profits so that if there is a bigger dip, you can get involved. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Thank you, Bill. Let me find something else here. Okay, let's look up Celsius. That's been a pretty popular coin recently.
Okay, pulling this up. Wow, this thing is something else, I'll tell you. I've been watching this for a while. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, Celsius coming up right here.
Celsius has been smoking.
Just an absolutely unbelievable battle between bulls and bears at 6. I don't know what it is about 6, but man, they wanted to fight it out at 6. Now, this to me, if we zoom in, so this is the daily chart you're looking at on January 12th, 10th, rather. Okay, now I'm zooming into an intraday chart. Let's try to look at 4 hours. Okay. Now, this is the gigantic battle that's occurred at 6. So I'll get it here and then I'll leave it so you can look at it. Okay. Now, what became obvious is that when there was a dip this morning on January 10th, Sunday. So Sunday, January 10th, you had a flash crash and then it came all the way back. And then the market went back down again. So I think that someone out there really wants to buy this. I think the buyers are actually holding this up and the sellers can't push it down. So if I saw a daily close, let's go back to the daily chart. if there was a daily close back above 6, because you'll notice that it's been very hard for Celsius to hold above 6 before these big sellers come back in, right? So if you see Celsius take out 6, okay, that could be a sign that, it's like it's on. All right. But until you see that, I don't know that you have to chase it. Like, I don't know that you have to chase what's gone up recently, right? You don't have to chase.
All right. Well said, Bill. Well said. I mean, Celsius has come a long way since their ICO back in 2017. Because I recall Celsius being on the spreadsheet even back then as an all-star ICO. And the first 1 year was rough for Celsius because the bear market basically came in 2018. But I mean, they've survived and they are thriving now, because now they're basically almost top 20 market cap, which is pretty insane. Pretty insane. All right, so congrats to all the Celsius token holders out there. Pat yourself on the back and let us know what you think about the project down below. Okay, all right, let's check the comments and see how we're doing. Lots of Celsius fans. Okay, let me see if there are any other questions we can pull out from the live stream. I mean, okay, maybe we'll do this rapid fire style. Best crypto debit cards. I personally have the BitPay debit card, but honestly, I've not used that in 2 years because I don't like spending crypto. I know Coinbase has one, but I think that's only in Europe. Binance has one. So pretty much anything backed by Binance, Coinbase, BitPay, those are the top ones. Bill, are there any? I think also Crypto.com has one as well. Any other crypto debit cards you're aware of?
Well, I like to joke around and say PayPal. It's not a crypto debit card, but you've got crypto in an account and you've got a debit card that you can spend in dollars. Yep. So if you don't want to spend crypto, don't spend crypto. But if you have PayPal and you're worried that your dollar purchasing power is eroding every day at the grocery store, then you may have to throw some crypto in your PayPal account and sell it off as it rises so you can pay for your $16 sandwich.
Yeah. Because the only reason you should be selling crypto is if you're selling stable coins, which kind of defeats the whole point of spending crypto, right? Okay, top crypto-friendly banks. There's mercurybank.com. I'm sorry, mercury.com by Mercury Bank. It's crypto-friendly, but it's also a hassle to connect to crypto exchanges because they use an intermediary bank. They use Evolve Bank as their main bank. But for startups, it is pretty crypto-friendly, even though I don't really use it for crypto. Bank of America, honestly, with me, I haven't had any issues. I guess I had one minor issue, but with the help of a lawyer, and that was resolved. There's Silvergate Bank, but that's mainly for institutions. You have to have like over $1 million in assets or in holdings with the bank. That's mainly for funds, for hedge funds. That's kind of like that's the main crypto bank for exchanges and for funds. Any other crypto-friendly banks, Bill?
Well, I mean, the only thing I can really add to that is that, I've had really no problems, ironically, with Wells Fargo moving money back and forth between Coinbase and Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo sort of took it on the chin for, having a sort of image issue, but I noticed that they seem to be super crypto friendly. Right? Because, a lot of times small credit unions and banks won't let you connect to exchanges, but Wells Fargo's obviously got something going on with Coinbase because it's been flawless.
Okay, all right, let me see if we can get some other good questions here. Okay. All right. Next to Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is the next in line between, okay, what is this? Bitcoin Cash, I think, Dot, Litecoin, and Chainlink. Okay, so out of these four, Bitcoin Cash, Polkadot, Litecoin, and Chainlink, which one is next? Oh, wow.
So they're asking which is the next like new gigantic coin.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to pick, I would pick Polkadot, but even Polkadot is still early. It's still experimental. Litecoin is dead, but it is on PayPal. So nothing in crypto is really ever dead. Chainlink technology is great, but we're actually talking about this. And this has also kind of been, there have been rumors about this out there that is Chainlink possibly next in terms of XRP? Because to my knowledge, I don't think you really need Chainlink or the link token to use their oracles. So if it's not really being used, what's the value of the token? Is it really a security? And then I know some people were talking about how they had an ICO back in 2017 with no KYC, right? So all of these are just rumors, obviously. Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash has been on a run. I know Bill was talking about this earlier in the show. Bill, if you had to pick between these four, which one would you pick?
Okay, I would pick, I mean, I know I talked a lot about Polkadot. I think if there's a surprise pick, it's Bitcoin Cash, only because, you know, everybody is mooning Stellar, Cardano. We talked about Neo mooning. All Bitcoin Cash needs is one really good application running on it. Just like probably Bitcoin just probably needs one good DeFi application running on it before everybody goes, oh my God. Because remember what Bitcoin Cash is, right? It's peer-to-peer faster Bitcoin. I mean, you can read Roger Ver's Twitter feed. He'll tell you about it. No one has been listening to this guy, right? It's almost worse than Litecoin, right? The guy creates it. He has a value proposition. He's got to survive multiple forks. Oh my God, what these people have been through. The coin's still there. Now, if I think there's a dark horse, I don't know. It doesn't move very much. But if there is like this, like what's the most ridiculous next big thing that there could be? I was wondering if there's Tezos or something like it. In other words, let's back into it this way. What cryptocurrency is going to become the test net for the digital dollar, the digital euro, the digital yen? They're not going to build their own blockchain like the Chinese. They're not going to do that. They're going to partner with somebody in the private sector. Who are they going to partner with to build a sovereign digital currency and or stable coin?
Yeah.
Tezos is possible.
Yeah, and speaking of that, that's also why Stellar Lumens had a great month and great week. So Ukraine government announced they'll be using Stellar Lumens for their stablecoin. Actually, let's pull that up and do some TA on that, because I know some people have been asking about Stellar. And then we'll wrap up the show. So if you're enjoying this live stream, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, share this video with your crypto family, get them on board, get them into crypto. Not being in crypto at this point is a financial crime, right? So definitely stop committing crimes. Not that anybody is, but if you are, get your friends in crypto, because now it's now or never. People are losing purchasing power, and crypto is the biggest wealth transfer in human history.
Okay, so Stellar Lumens, a really good example of not giving up too soon. I have to confess that I missed this, and I can't believe I missed it. So this is Stellar on Coinbase, right? And you can't even see where I messed it up, but like I sort of make this joke about giving up. Okay, so I saw this bottoming formation in Stellar. Probably go back and find it when I talked about it last year. I looked at Stellar and I'm like, hey, this could go up. You know, this could be another one of these, like, you know, I thought it was going to be like IBM coin or something like that. Some of these blockchains where it was like build it and they will come. Well, somebody is actually going to come in and use them. And what do you know? Stellar goes from 6 cents to 20, then it corrects back to 15 and it goes to 40. Now, honestly, I don't know that I would pay up for this right this second. Right? In other words, I think that the Stellar phenomenon proves that there will be other blockchains. There'll be a Cardano. All of these blockchains, one by one, are going to go up because everybody is going to have a digital currency. You know, you're going to have countries, sovereign digital currencies. Eventually, you know, Facebook kind of got hurt trying to invent its own through Libra. Now it's called something else. Other Silicon Valley or other players may try to partner with existing blockchains so that you might have, you know, I don't know, Google Coin, or Amazon may want to get involved. But they probably will learn from the Facebook example that, you know, Facebook made the announcement and Congress was having hearings within 2 weeks. So somebody's probably going to do something with these existing blockchains, except that it's going to be more subtle. And it could be partnerships with existing companies. So does Stellar look good? Yeah, Stellar looks good. Would I buy a dip? Sure. But there may be another play out there that if you have the patience, you know, it could be Neo. We talked about that. Could be ETH, could be DOT, right? Could be Tezos. Right? Somewhere out there, there's a test net for a digital dollar, a digital euro, a digital pound. Some private sector entity is going to help get countries and companies into the crypto game because everyone's just not going to just sit around now that Bitcoin is at 40K, right? If you're doing an earnings report, okay, for a company, if you're doing earnings and you're a CFO, you better have an answer when an analyst asks you, what are you doing in blockchain? Do you own Bitcoin? And do you plan to buy Bitcoin? And what's your crypto strategy? Every single company, now that Michael Saylor has done what he's done, is going to have to answer this question. And I'm going to bring the Stellar chart back up here, right? So, you know, if I had to do a wave count on Stellar, I would do this. Okay, so this is probably the first leg, the second leg, the third leg. I don't know. The fourth leg might be, who knows? It could be right here, maybe 25 cents. And then there's going to be a fifth wave or a new high. Okay, it could be $1. Why not? I mean, I keep saying somebody's got to benefit, maybe, and I keep saying somebody's, but maybe I was right the first time. Maybe it's just somebody. Maybe that's Stellar. So, you know, the Stellar price prediction, if 25 is support, it could go to $1. Why not?
All right. Yeah, I think that will definitely be good because Stellar is one of those projects with good, solid fundamentals. For those who don't know, Stellar CEO Judd McCaleb left XRP, Ripple, basically, to form Stellar. Stellar is kind of like XRP, but less centralized, basically decentralized. And I think the fact that they have the blessing of enterprise companies, like they partnered with IBM, they're now partnered with Ukraine for a stablecoin, or basically a digital currency. I could definitely see them getting more adoption from institutions as maybe the stablecoin coin, right? For countries that they want to roll their own stablecoins, because having Ukraine and IBM is definitely a good start in terms of kind of showcasing the value prop, as opposed to these countries going with random new projects. All right, tell us what you think about Stellar down below. Okay, let's do one more coin and then we'll wrap it up. Uh, there's lots of interest in Nano, Nano. Not sure if we covered that before today.
Okay, pulling it up now.
All right.
Okay, Nano. Wow. It went from 1 to 5, and now it's back at 3. Okay. Let's see. My idea about altcoins is if the big coins consolidate, okay, there will be dip buying opportunities in the little coins. Okay. Now, do you have to run in and do this right now? No. Okay. Because this is the daily chart. So I'm going to put this up and just leave it up here. Okay. Now, unless you think that this coin has got some amazing value proposition, I would say put this in, buy a small amount on the dip, but don't go all in. Okay. If I had to guess what a price target would be for this, all right, I would say there is going to be a new high, right? So, you know, I would say that the price prediction target for Nano would be $6.50. The thing I can't figure out from what I'm looking at right now is how deep the dip is. Like, is the dip $2.75 or is the dip $2? Right? That's kind of a big percentage area as to where, you know, the dip will come. So I think for Nano, the price target is 6.5. Okay. But you better be careful how you buy the dip. And here's what I mean. Wait for this thing to stop going down. Okay. Wait for a couple of green candles. Wait for the overall market to stabilize. Let the new president get sworn in. And then if it looks good and it's green, then go with it. Don't catch the falling knife in stuff like this because it can go all the way up and all the way back down on you, right? Because it's brand new.
All right. Thank you, Bill. That was great. Okay. All right. So let's time for last words. Let me just check and see if anything else here with the comments. Yeah, people are saying wow with Nano. Okay. All right. All right, Bill. So any last words to our crypto family?
Yes. So be safe, be smart. People are in a cranky mood. Don't watch too much news or too much TV. Stay informed, but don't let strange things that happen pollute your head, because you're going to need a clear head. Because if there's an opportunity to buy the dip, you got to be there, particularly if the dip is scary. Because if you go back to 2010, 2011 in equities, those were big, scary dips. And the people who bought those dips were legend. They became legends. All right. So if you want to be a legend, and if there is a big dip and you can get involved, you're going to need to keep your head clear. So don't talk politics if you don't have to. Don't talk politics or religion at the dinner table. Keep it balanced, keep it crypto, keep yourself sane, and keep yourself safe.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Well said. Well said. Yeah, because going back to last year on Black Thursday, when the market was down 30, 40% and everybody was just running for the exit, I mean, we held on. I mean, talk about hodl. I mean, like, we were hodling for real, right? It's kind of like being on Noah's Ark and entering a freaking hurricane or tsunami storm. And that's because I don't think I'll ever forget that day, because even 30 years down the road, I look back and say, you know what? Because that's the first time I saw our rating system have Bitcoin at 99%. When Bitcoin went to $3,000, and I'm like, it better be right. I mean, because at that point in time, we also even lost customers because customers were like, Bitcoin is down like, what, 25, 30%? And you're telling us to buy? Right? So we lost probably like a good portion of customers at that time. But now, fast forward less than a year later, Bitcoin's at almost 40K. Ethereum is almost back to all-time high. All right. So kind of as Bill mentioned earlier in the show, this is a bull market, but it's never easy being in a bull market. It's almost like you're riding a bull, right? And the bull is always trying to test you. And so many people are getting shaken out because just think about this. We've gone from 3,000 to 40,000 pretty much in less than a year. And it's not just been one smooth ride. So many people have been shaken out. And this is just the beginning, right? So the question is, if you're fundamentally in this for the long term, you won't get tossed out, right? So with that being said, thank you, crypto family. It's been a great stream. Happy 2021. And with that being said, we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. And be sure to smash the like buttons. Do you guys want to do an overtime? Okay, let me. Okay, let me just make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Oh man. Okay, looks like some people just got here. Hey, what's up? Mike, how are you? Old man. Hex, how are you? Overtime? Okay, let's do a handful of questions. Not like token related questions, just questions in general, right? Kind of like more like the psyche. Bill is cautious, is not wearing a hoodie. Yeah, so what questions do you guys have? All I can say is make sure you're taking profits. We're in a bull run. Oh wow, should Twitter have banned Trump? Okay, all right, that's a very good question. Very good question. Wasn't prepared to talk about that because usually I don't like getting too political. Okay, the question is, should Twitter have banned Trump? Okay, let me first kind of set the stage. One, you could say, for those who follow me for a while, know in terms of my principles, I'm an independent. I'm not Democrat, Republican. I think kind of like most people in crypto, I follow libertarian principles. I mean, so you could say I'm almost libertarian, but I don't like belonging to any party. I always like being a free agent, so to speak. But one thing that is very libertarian in principle is it's also capitalist in principle, is letting the free market decide, right? And Twitter is its own company. So technically they can do whatever the heck they want to do. And so if they want to ban anybody, that's their right as a company, right? But then at the same time, they just banned the president of the United States. And as an American, I know there are other countries, especially that aren't pro-America, let's say communist countries, right? Whether you want to say China or even North Korea, Iran, right? Communist countries whose presidents are on Twitter, okay? And I'm not sure how much policing goes on with their tweets. I'm no political expert by any means, right? But I'm saying this sets a bad precedent because Twitter, I mean, whether good or bad, but I think it's bad short term. I mean, this could even be the end of Twitter. I mean, probably not, but I think this could be the catalyst for decentralized applications, because Trump is not just going to be quiet. I mean, Trump is a narcissist. He likes the attention, the spotlight. And I think, how does this play out, right? Because if we kind of try to think about this from a first order principle, which is made famous by Elon Musk. First of all, shout out to Elon Musk. He's now the world's richest person, world's richest billionaire, and he's pro crypto. He keeps on talking about Dogecoin, Bitcoin. I think he owns what, like a quarter of a Bitcoin. But I mean, I think he has to have more. I mean, but because he gets it, he gets it. But anyway, that's besides the point. Looking at this, okay, Trump has a huge audience because half of the country in America voted for Trump. Are they just gonna vanish? I mean, because Parler, an app on the Apple App Store, was delisted from the Apple App Store. And then you also have Amazon Web Services saying they're cutting their hosting of Parler. I mean, that's crazy. I don't think they've really ever done anything like that. I mean, so basically, if you're on the edges of the political spectrum, whether conservative, liberal, it's now becoming common for them not to have a place to go. And I think the next logical conclusion would be decentralized applications. I mean, so, because if Trump can't, if Trump is basically banned from the internet, I mean, almost every social media platform has banned him. Where does he go? I mean, I think he goes onto the blockchain. I mean, that's where he goes. There isn't really any application, to my knowledge, that's that big. I mean, either they build their own end-to-end, like conservative infrastructure, or even basically end-to-end hosting, or they go like open source, fully open source. But I think Trump might have to come around to crypto. I mean, because crypto, I mean, whether you're, regardless of your beliefs, it's all about unstoppable applications, right? So if anything, makes me even more bullish, right? But if Trump can get onto Bitcoin, Ethereum, onto dApps, I mean, regardless of what you think about his politics, I think that could be big for the space, right? But anyway, that's kind of my take on it. Besides the point, do you think Donald Trump Jr. or his daughter will run, backed by new right-wing media networks? I mean, I felt like he was grooming them to run, but honestly, it's going to be tough. But because Trump winning in the first place kind of changed everything. Like he's basically the social media president. He's basically tweeting. Everything he said was designed to be clickbait, to go viral on social media, in my opinion. And then once he got into power, people were like, how did this happen, right? Because he basically was able to leapfrog the media, right? He was a master at playing the media to get him on TV, right? If anything, for anybody in marketing, I mean, you can definitely learn how to market, how to always stay in the spotlight. But the downside was he said lots of crazy things to stay in the spotlight, right? Which is why he's banned on Twitter. Trump is going to jail. He's not going to need Twitter. I mean, depends. I mean, what precedent would that set? I mean, putting an American president in jail, right? I mean, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Otherwise, there'll be lots of presidents in jail. I wish we had Andrew Yang to be president. So Andrew Yang is now running for mayor in New York. So definitely keeping an eye on that. R.I.P. Alex Jones. I mean, maybe all these people, I mean, because first of all, even us people in crypto have been getting censored by YouTube, right? So, and it's kind of funny. I don't see any YouTubers really getting onto the YouTube or the YouTube version for blockchain because they're not really ready. So if they're not ready for YouTubers, they're definitely not ready for a president, right? Or former president. right? But maybe down the road, maybe this speeds things up and gets people to really build better technology that can scale. We should have Trump coin. The questions are coming from the comments. Dean, how do I like Austin? I mean, Austin is fine, but man, this pandemic is it sucks. I mean, everything is dead. I just wish this vaccine can hurry the hell up, and we get back to living our good lives, and we can go out, you know? Because what's the point of? I mean, the only thing that's good is I can work and we're in a crypto bull run. But other than that, I mean, it's in a new city, wanting to network, want to do crypto meetup, right? I'm not advising anymore, Crypto Jedi. Why aren't you wearing a mask? Because I'm in my home. That's why. Biden for nursing home in China. What are my thoughts on altcoins? I mean, I've answered this question a lot of times, but let me answer this. Altcoins are the future of crypto. I mean, Bill says that altcoins are like the new technology stocks. Just think about this. People are investing Bitcoin. People are FOMOing into Bitcoin. Bitcoin went from 3,000 to 40K in less than a year. Then people are going to FOMO into Ethereum. It's already happening. Ethereum went from 100 to 1,200. And then people always have shiny new object syndrome. So they look for the next coin to go to. And so the question is, Bitcoin or the field? I strongly believe in the long tail of crypto. That's why you could say I'm an altcoin maximalist, right? Because yes, Bitcoin has the store value use case, but in terms of building applications, Ethereum is where it's at. And if you believe in Ethereum, you have to believe in altcoins because the two go together. If you're bearish on altcoins, you're bearish on Ethereum. You cannot be bullish on Ethereum and be bearish on altcoins because Ethereum is a platform. It's a virtual computer. So are you basically bullish on a virtual computer? Are you bullish on a computer with no software? Because the dApps are the software on Ethereum. So if you're bullish on a computer, you have to be bullish on the applications that the computer will be running. And that's why I'm bullish on altcoins, right? So that's kind of my take. And that's why, especially if you're new to crypto, and let's say you missed Bitcoin, and let's say you missed Ethereum, even though Ethereum is just getting started. The next wave will be altcoins, right? They might come in sectors such as DeFi, and then maybe some other things like privacy, whatever, right? But in general, like Ethereum and DeFi go hand in hand, and DeFi are altcoins running on Ethereum, right? So you have to be bullish on all, right? That's kind of my take, and that's where most of the gains are. But the thing is, you have to be very, very careful. Don't invest anything you're not willing to lose, and diversify. I have a story about how to diversify from actually earlier this week, and it was, I mean, unfortunately, it was a very sad story. I'm not sure if I want to get too much into it, but basically somebody got wrecked. Basically, long story short, somebody got wrecked from not diversifying. And that's why I always want to hit that point home. You want to diversify your money. You don't want to put everything into, you should never put 50% of your money into one coin. I mean, unless it's like cash, or even stable coins, right? Because even stable coins, like they can have issues, right? We saw what happened with DAI, right? When, especially if it's algorithmic based, or even Tether. Tether at one point has dropped below to 85 cents when they were getting sued, I think, by the New York Attorney General. But anyway, I mean, anything could happen, right? When Tether announced that, hey, by the way, we didn't have all the reserves we claimed we did. So you never want to put all your money into one coin. And in general, if you're investing in highly speculative coins, don't put more than 1 to 2% in any trade. So, I mean, if you're putting 50% into one coin, please don't take the L. I mean, please do not take any L's. Do not take any L's. I mean, a while back we used to have an old adage I would say in the show saying, if you take any L's, don't mention our names. But I mean, in a bull market, people are losing money in bull markets still. So don't be one of those people. Take profits. All right. But anyway, don't want to ramble too much. What is the point of investing in stablecoins? Um, Good question. So the purpose of stablecoins, mainly for traders who want to get out of volatility. So let's say you're holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any altcoin, any cryptocurrency, and you think it's going to go down, and you don't want to lose your money. So you cash out to stablecoin, which is stable. The price goes down. Once you think it's bottomed, then you buy the dip. Right? It's kind of like cashing out to cash, except everything is in crypto and it's on the same exchange. So as opposed to, let's say you're on Coinbase, Gemini, Binance, whatever, as opposed to sending your funds back to your bank account, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, whatever, you keep the funds on the exchange, but it's in a stable currency where you let the price drop, it stabilizes, then you buy the dip, right? So stable coins are really a way for you to park your money and get out of the volatility in the market for a short time and then hop back in, right? So stable coins are a way to play defense. So when you're bearish in the market or when you want to take profits and live to fight another day, that's when you use stable coins. Okay, no coin questions. We answered enough coin questions for over 2 hours. Can you do a Spanish channel? No habla español, amigos. Ethereum is the app store. Yeah, absolutely. Ethereum is the app store. What about the network effects? Yeah, Ethereum has the network effects. More developers are building on Ethereum than there are on Bitcoin, right? And the fact that Ethereum is performing better than Bitcoin makes me even more bullish because it's just getting started. All right. So what questions do you guys have for me in terms of just like general questions, evergreen questions? We talked about Dash earlier in the show. Do I trade with leverage? Oh, hell no. Hell no. No. Leverage is how you get wrecked. I mean, because just think about this. Even institutional hedge funds get wrecked trading with leverage, right? So you have to be lucky and know what you're doing. And even then, you can still get wrecked, right? So I don't really trade with leverage. I have been looking into options. I mean, because would have been nice to have options on Ethereum, call options, basically because the option. I think the only way I would personally trade with leverage is through options, but even that I'm not done. But our team has been looking into put options as insurance for downside risk with the indices. But that's something we want to look into for version 2.0. But I mean, for example, I'm bullish on Ethereum. If I could buy options on Ethereum, basically using leverage, I might look into it, but that I'm not done yet. Why the recent Dubai trip, holiday business? Both. It was business. I had a chance to meet somebody at the blockchain center. And then Dubai is one of the few places taking Americans and wanted a break, wanted to just get away. So it checked all the boxes. I could go there for business, go there for pleasure, and or taking Americans. And good place to go for New Year's, good place to go for shopping. So checked all the boxes. What advice do I have about futures and leverage? Nothing in particular, but definitely do your research. Read some great books on it. Thoughts on NFTs? lots of potential, but still early. They're still very early. Who would you list as your top 3 blockchain developers? As individuals? I mean, I don't think you can really say who are the top 3 blockchain developers. I mean, I would probably just go on GitHub and I'd probably say the top Bitcoin core developer and probably top Ethereum core developers. But that would depend on the activity on GitHub and kind of the reputation, which is not really something I look into, but maybe anybody can go find that on GitHub at this point. Do I recommend 3Commas? I've not really looked into them. I mean, I've looked into them, but I know they're trading bot, but I've never used them, so I can't really recommend them. Prediction for Bitcoin, go watch the beginning of the show. We covered it. But basically, very, very bullish, but more bullish than Ethereum. I only have $40 to invest. What do I do? I would say make more money. That's probably the best place to start. What's your outlook on the political world affecting Bitcoin and alts during this bull run? To the moon and beyond, unfortunately, as the world, because basically Bitcoin is, I should say crypto in general, is insurance against the status quo, insurance against central banks, governments, insurance against anything centralized that could fail. And that's why crypto has performed so well since Black Thursday last year, since the pandemic. Yes, there was an initial crash, but once it recovered, we've been going nothing but up, right? So if there's any issue with anything centralized, crypto is that hedge. Yeah, save that money. Yes, I did meet Crypto in Dubai. Also met Crypto Jack. Met who else did I meet? Carl the Moon. How did you turn? Okay, let me think about this. Give me 1 second. Okay, how did you turn 50K into 5 million? I put 50K in December and want to maximize my profits. Okay, so how I turned, actually, I turned about 20K, $20,000. This is back in December. Sorry, this was back in 2017. I put in $20,000 into crypto over some time, dollar cost averaging. Eventually, I ended up putting more, but for the most part, it was about 20K. And I made the money by investing in crypto, obviously, but it was from, first of all, I didn't put all my money in at once. The first thing I did was dollar cost average. And it wasn't even like anything planned per se. It was just more of whenever I had some money, I would put it into crypto, right? So I first got into crypto by putting in $100. Went on Coinbase. This was October 2016 or so. Used $100 to buy Bitcoin, $100 to buy Ethereum, just to dip my toes and say, you know what? Now that I own a piece, I'll put more effort into researching all these crypto things, right? Then I spent about 2.5 months reading about crypto. Got 2 books, Digital Gold and the Age of Cryptocurrency. So fast forward, after going through those 2 books, I was like, you know what? I'm bullish on crypto long term. I'm in. So this was around January 2017. Had a nice commission check from IBM. So I put in 2,500 into Bitcoin and 2,500 into Ethereum. So basically, I went from about $200 to $5,000. That was how much I was comfortable losing at that time. And then Ethereum was at around between $8 and $10. It was kind of going in a channel. Then Ethereum announced the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, and it just took off. Went to 20, 25, then 40, in like a week and a half. And I was like, where's my sound?
We just landed on the moon.
I was like, hold up. It went up like 2 to 400% in like 2 weeks. And I was like, guys, slow everything. Let's go all into crypto. And that's when I began living, breathing crypto. Because before I was kind of passively just hodling, not even looking at the price. But once I saw the price was rocketing, I was like, oh man, this is it. Like, this is how I quit my job. So I went all in. Then, long story short, by September 2017, I quit my job at IBM and went all in on crypto because at that point I had made about 250K. Then when I quit, by end of the year it was a million. Then at the peak of the bull run, it was at 5 million. But the strategy I had was the strategy that's now called token metrics, basically a data-driven approach to investing. We love its data. I had a spreadsheet where I go through and just crunch the data and see what to invest in, right? But the thing is, I had a strategy. I had a plan when I got in. I was investing in ICOs, which I don't do now anymore. But back then, my plan was ICOs. I would get in. First of all, I never put more than, I was putting in 5 to 10%. Actually, no, I was putting in 8 to 10% of my portfolio into every ICO. While it was an aggressive strategy, it's still conservative to some of the things I see people in crypto doing. But one thing you want to do is never put more than 10% into anything. And it wasn't just putting 10% into a project that I just randomly saw. It was a project I had researched. Now, obviously, no investor is perfect. I was kind of taking the VC approach. But basically, I put 8 to 10% into a coin. These were ICOs, private sales. After a 3x, I'll take out my initial investment. So let's say I put in, so I began small. Like my first ICO ever, I put in $2,000. That did a 10x. This was Civic back in 2017. This was like July or August 2017. So I turned $2,000 to $20,000 in like a few weeks to a month, I think. I was like, okay, right? I'm sorry, no, that was my first private sale, Civic. Then first ICO was like some duds. Back then, a dud was like a 2 to 3x. Oh man. But basically, I was flipping ICOs. I'll put in the money, but same thing can be done now, right? Put the money into a coin. It goes up 2, 3, 4x, 5x, 10x. Take out my initial. Then I would sell about 10 to 20% every 3x or so. It wasn't set in stone, but basically, after the first 3x, I'll definitely take out my initial. Then once I went to like 5, 10x, take out some more, about 20%. As it kept on going up, I'll take it out. Then on the way down, I'll take out profits. But basically, the message from that is I had a plan. I didn't invest too much money into any one coin. So I always lived to fight another day. I only put in what I was willing to lose. And yeah, I mean, that was kind of it. And then the projects that were performing bad, I would either take the L and move on, right? And just learn the lesson from that, right? I wasn't really dwelling in the past, because if you're dwelling in the past, you're going to miss the future, right? Because there's a new project coming out this month and you're busy sulking over your losses, you're going to miss that, right? So that's how I did it. And I kept on repeating that until the bull run was over, basically, right? But the lesson from that is the market moves in cycles and you want to be ready. Because right now we're in a bull market. So now's the time to make that money, because we've been waiting for this for a long time and it's now finally here. So that's kind of what I did. But definitely, if anybody out there made any money, let me know your strategy. How are you making money in crypto? Okay. Are you still Uber only? Buying new car with research? Yeah, still Uber everywhere. I have an Uber pass and everything. I don't drive a car. I used to have a car back in 2017, but gave it up. I had a red Mercedes C-Class sedan, but because my goal was to travel the world, so I wanted to just live in a suitcase. So 2018 was definitely one of the times of my life. We did 35 countries in 12 months. So one of the best things I ever did. Thoughts on Michael Saylor? Okay, okay. Thoughts on Michael Saylor saying to Crypto that he thinks the future of Bitcoin value will be $15 million. $15 million Bitcoin. I mean, anything is possible. Michael Saylor is a smart guy. If he thinks that's possible, that's possible. But I mean, if Bitcoin's at that price, where's Ethereum going to be? Is a question. Uh, that's not a question I ask. But I mean, anything is possible. Because 15 million times 21 million market cap. I mean, because anything is possible if there's no time frame limit, right? Because we all believe Bitcoin is the future of internet money, and so is Ethereum and crypto. So natural progression says that if this is the future of money online in the internet, especially if things become decentralized, I mean, that's possible, right? So I think that's possible. Can't really get too much into it. Are you bullish on Janet Yellen and Fed policy to print more money? Absolutely, absolutely. Hence, even more bullish on crypto. Price of milk is ridiculous now. Oh man, do you know what's ridiculous? I'm not sure if it's just something here in Austin, but I went out to like the W Hotel uh, a few days ago to buy, and I asked for an old fashioned. That's my drink, and it was like $17 for an old fashioned in a pandemic. I mean, that's like Vegas prices. I mean, even an old fashioned in Dubai was cheaper. I think. I'm not sure if it's just the W Hotel here or something, or if this just inflation, right? But I guess that's how I compare whether there's inflation in my drinks. Do I like one chain still? No, one chain is, even though it's kind of been rallying, they haven't really delivered, honestly, right? And more projects have launched. They're supposed to be interoperable. There's Polkadot, there's Cosmos now. Icon is still a better project. So I mean, one chain at best is number 4 in the interoperability. But I mean, if they're going purely after the Asian market, maybe, right? But I would not put my money there. Don't quit YouTube. No plans to quit anytime soon. Why not bring the spreadsheet back? Because we got token metrics. Best crypto trading tools for investors. Token metrics. I mean, that's why I built it. Even though it is buggy, but our team is working on that. As mentioned, we just had 2 new engineers today. So thank you for the patience. Apologies for any the inconvenience. But our goal is to make token metrics the only tool you'll ever need to make money in crypto. And I mean, that's what we're building. It takes, because there's so many things we're trying to tackle, and we're a small team, right? We're tackling crypto, we're tackling trading and investing and quants, we're tackling machine learning and AI, right? We're tackling big data. So there's so many things we're working on at the same time, but I appreciate it. Are we close to the end of the bull run? No, we are not. We covered this in the beginning of the show. This is just the beginning, in my opinion. Tap coins. We covered that in the beginning of the show. Moved to Miami. I tried Miami. I mean, I went to Miami back in 2019. I was there for like 2.5, 3 months. Miami, I cannot get any work done in Miami. Honestly, this first of all, Miami is fun. All right, too much fun. That's one thing. 2, Miami is tough if you don't speak Spanish. Honestly, yes, I know you can get by, but what really got me is I was because I do Uber everywhere, right? I have no car, so I took my car back, and I was Ubering everywhere. And imagine having meetings, having dates, having anything you want to do, and you have to Uber everywhere. And every time you call an Uber in Miami, the guy didn't speak English, right? And I'm there 20 minutes to half an hour late for almost everywhere I have to go, because so many times the Ubers, I couldn't even navigate them because they wanted me to speak to them in Spanish, right? So that was very, very frustrating, right? So that was one of the factors. And then timing just wasn't right for me, right? I feel like Miami is a place you go to vacation, right? Uh, and for me, like Austin is the move because crypto, crypto wise, so many people here in crypto. There's a crypto exodus. Like what's happening really? Here, let me actually speak on this for a bit. Right, the pandemic has really brought a shift where you have Wall Street going to Florida, to basically South Florida. You have like Miami and like Palm Beach, because I know like Pomp is now in Miami, and other people. I know other funds are going to Miami. Basically, you have Wall Street going to Miami, and you have Silicon Valley going to Austin. Both of them are in Florida and Texas, two states in America where there's no state income tax. So for investors, people who invest for a living, great place to be, right? Because you can save no state tax, especially in this bull run. But then the reason why Silicon Valley is not really going to Florida, at least from my initial understanding of the problem, is that in Florida, you have a non-compete policy, meaning that if you work for a company, over there, it's very normal for companies to give you a non-compete, saying that you can't go work for the competition. Silicon Valley lives by that, meaning that somebody can go work for Facebook and Instagram, and then they get poached by Snapchat, right? Or somebody can go work for Uber and then get poached by Lyft, right? And not have to go one or several years without not working for the competition. But in Florida, they don't play that. So that's my understanding of the problem, at least from the investors I follow on Twitter and some other places, why it's tough for Silicon Valley to go to Florida, right? Because they can't do that. Like imagine like working for Tesla, right? And let's say some new competitor like General Motors wants to just, or let's say some new startup poaches the head of cars at Tesla, right? In California, with no non-compete policy, you can quit and the next day begin working there. But in other states like Florida, you can't just go to the competition the next day. You have to wait, right? Typically, it's in the contract. So until they change that, I don't really see Silicon Valley going to Florida anytime soon. As a result, Austin is where it's at. And the crypto community I've met here in Austin, I mean, very, very great quality, high caliber, high value, lots of funds, right? And to me, Austin is quiet. Right now it's too quiet for me, but I can get work done. But yeah, but I do like Miami. I do like to visit Miami. I mean, at times I was the mayor of Miami. Lots of Miami nights in Miami. But that's why sometimes you have to know your weakness, right? And my weakness was just head down, work on token metrics, make this money in crypto, and go to Miami for vacation, right? That's kind of my perspective. Okay. With your experience from 2017 to 2019 and becoming wealthy in a short amount of time, what future pitfall would you tell Ian Balina to avoid in 2016? Okay. Let me kind of rephrase that. So basically, in my experience, what would I tell myself about making money quickly? I mean, first of all, when you make money fast, first of all, one, get it while it's good, right? The market moves in cycles. So don't believe and don't be naive that this is gonna last forever. Like my biggest mistake was we were getting money so easy, hand over fist. We were flipping these ICOs, these cryptocurrencies like pancakes, like putting in $2,000 to 20 grand, 20 grand to 100 grand, 100 grand to a mil. All right, we were making money so fast. We thought like this would last forever. I mean, like, because we're like, we have a system, the market is going up. It's kind of like the mindset people have now, especially for those who follow Wall Street Bets on Reddit or Twitter or IG, like all these memes, like stonks only go up. right? So the mindset I had, which was very, very naive, was that crypto only goes up. Because I got into crypto in 2016 and I had only experienced a bull run. I had never experienced like a brutal crypto bear market where everything drops like 95%. So to me, everything was like to the moon and beyond. So I literally thought I would flip shitcoins and become a billionaire in like less than 5 years. And if you had asked me like, hey, is this possible? I was like, yeah, of course, we're doing it now. Like crypto is the future of money. We're in a bull market, like of course. But obviously that never happened, right? Once the music stopped, everything came crashing, right? And there's a famous saying in Wall Street, uh, markets, basically market stocks, crypto, anything for investing goes up in an escalator and comes down in an elevator. So don't forget that. So as you're making money now, understand that yes, it's going up slowly, but it can come crashing overnight. I mean, heck, even last year it happened, Black Thursday. Literally, I sleep pretty late. It was like 2, 3 a.m. when I went to sleep. Everything was fine, kosher, kumbaya. I go to sleep. I wake up, Black Thursday. The market's down 30, 40% in less than 12 hours, right? Because of what? Pandemic or whatever, right? Corona, COVID, a black swan event, basically something that nobody had planned for. That happened not even in 1 day, in less than 12 hours. Meaning that you go to sleep and you wake up, your portfolio is down 30, 40%. So keep that in mind. So make the money while the money can be made, right? Timing matters. And right now is a good time to make the money, but also understand that it's not going to last forever. The market moves in cycles, it ebbs and flows, it has a yin and yang. So take profits, cash out, not everything, but have a goal, right? So have something tangible to strive towards. So for example, for me, it was buying my parents a home, right? So that was the goal that was making me make that money, right? And then cashed out money to pay for that, right? Whether it's buying a home, whether it's paying off your debt, tuition, loans, buying a car, a vacation, have something tangible and take out that money, put it into something you can't touch, right? And then the other lesson I would say I learned, uh, I messed up by treating my crypto as a bank account, treating it like, yeah, like a bank account, like my blockfolio, because I would wake up, look at my blockfolio, and I was making plans with that money in my blockfolio, right? Because I thought like, yeah, I have like 500,000, a million, 5 million in crypto, right? But as you guys know, a week later, it's down to like 2 million, just like that in crypto, right? Because it was so volatile. So you definitely don't want to budget or plan on anything that's volatile, right? So this, my plan that I have now, I have crypto, but I don't even look at it. That I don't even plan anything on it. It's almost like it's not even there. It's money I have, but I'm not gonna plan like and say, you know what, I'll go vacation here because I know I have X amount in crypto. I don't do that anymore, right? It's kind of like a savings account, right? So basically, treat your crypto like a savings account. Don't make plans on it. Like you don't want to plan with money in a trading account because, especially in crypto, because it's very volatile, right? You wake up one day, it's down 40%. That happens. This happened with Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? And it can definitely happen with altcoins or, right, on altcoin you're in, you get rug pulled or becomes illiquid. It gets, I mean, even XRP, right? So, and these are top 5 projects, top 5 market cap projects. So it can happen with anything, right? So those are the lessons. Let me see what else I would say. Um, play long-term games. Play long-term games. you have to be willing to make the sacrifice. By making the sacrifice, it's basically you're paying the price now to be able to live in the shade in the future. So like with me, with token metrics, like honestly, I don't have time to be degen right now. I have friends who are doing it. Sometimes I'm envious, right? But I know I'm playing a long-term game. This, what do I mean by that? I mean that I don't have time to chase a shiny new shitcoin coming out every month, every week, right? Even though we have token metrics, the platform, that's why we have the auto ingest coming from CoinGecko, but I don't have time to degen right now. And I know some people who are making a killing playing degen, right? Because from my perspective, right, from a first order principle perspective, okay, if I put in, let's say I put in a couple grand, $5,000 into a degen, it goes to 50K, 10x. Okay, that's nice. It goes to $500,000, even better, 100x, right? But my perspective is I'm putting in the time now because it's not about making a couple $100,000 or making even millions, honestly. I'm trying to make billions, right? So I'm asking myself, basically, how do I become a billionaire is the question, right? To just kind of be blunt. How do I become a billionaire? And from my research, right, if you go to like the Forbes crypto list of crypto billionaires that they compile every year, I mean, it's pretty astounding, but almost everybody on there built something, right? Even the investors built something, right? So let's go down the list of crypto billionaires. Winklevoss twins. Yes, they got Bitcoin they own like 1% of Bitcoin, but they also have Gemini crypto exchange, right? Binance of CZ. Yeah, it's Binance. Brian Armstrong, I'm not sure if he's a billionaire. He might be. Coinbase, right? Even Brock Pierce. Yes, he's an investor, but he launched EOS, the project. So I went down that list. Actually, hold on. Give me 1 second. Do I have it? I got it right here. To show you how much I study billionaires. I have this within an arm's reach. I bought this and I always have it as motivation, right? Let me go through this list right here real quick. I've actually not looked at this in a while, right? On page, this is Forbes July 27th, 2017 issue, page 62. Right, so actually, is this the one? Actually, never mind, this is the wrong one. Actually, too, because there's one with CZ on. I think the one in CZ is the one that has it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, so pretty much all the crypto billionaires built something. Yes, they also invest in crypto and they have Bitcoin, or they were early, right? Basically, the way people in crypto became billionaires is one, they built something, right? Meaning that they were founders, built something where they had equity. And then two, they were early in something, either early in Bitcoin, early in Ethereum, early in XRP, early in EOS, or right? Well, not early in EOS, but founded EOS. And I said, okay, you know what? If I want to diversify, I should also be building something in the space. I mean, because if you're bullish in the space, because investing is great, trading is great, but in a way, I mean, investing in trading will make you millions, maybe even tens of millions. But if you're trying to become a billionaire, honestly, you have to either one, launch a fund, which isn't something I really wanted to do, or two, build something in the space of value, right? And help people at scale. So that's what I did, right? I kind of took the spreadsheet, token metrics, and we've been working on this vision the last few years. And That's kind of like my bet, right? Because that's why going back to the whole degen thing, like the time I could spend degenning to make 10,000, 100,000, a million, even tens of millions, when I can spend that to make billions. Or even after seeing what Elon Musk is doing, it's basically saying like to Elon Musk, right? Like if you're trying to get to Elon Musk's level, are you going to get there purely investing? Yes, it's possible, right? Because honestly, that's the only way to become a billionaire. There are two ways to become a billionaire. One, be an investor who's early, basically become Warren Buffett or a hedge fund manager, or two, become a founder, right? But if we go and look at Forbes' list of richest people in the world, right? Let me pull this up. Forbes list of billionaires. Right, because you have to really study this. Let me see if I can get this in order, right? Because this is how true wealth is built, right? This is Forbes list. We got Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Bill Gates, Microsoft. Like, how many here are founders, and how many are investors? Right? Like, honestly, all the richest people are founders. Now, I'm not saying stop investing. Hey, all I'm saying is you want to have multiple streams of income, right? I've talked about this before on the channel for a while. I'm basically saying the same exact thing, right? The average millionaire, I believe, not sure if this is true, but either way, I like it. The average millionaire has 7 sources of income. So if you're investing in crypto and you're bullish in crypto, why not start a business in crypto, right? If you're, let's say you're, I don't know, a musician, maybe you start a business as well. I mean, either way, I feel like you have to be both an investor and a founder. Basically, somebody who has your own business. Having your own business and also investing, I think, is the best way to really play both sides, right? When I was early, when I was young, I read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Investor Quadrant. And that was actually probably the best Rich Dad book I ever read. It was basically about being an employee, investor, business owner. Let me see if I can find that here. Rich Dad Quadrant. Yeah, here's a chart, right? So basically, yeah, you have somebody who's employed, self-employed, business, investor. And to become a millionaire and billionaire, you have to be on this side, right? You have to have a business and you have to be an investor, right? And when I got into crypto, right, first I was working for IBM, then I was self-employed, basically, and investing. But now I'm basically on this side. And I'm basically both an investor and big business. But I'm really right now mainly big in business or working with token metrics, because that's kind of where I put most of my time, right? Because I have equity in this and this can really blow up, right? Like basically I'm betting on myself, long story short. So basically, if you have to ask me, do I spend time degenning to find the next, basically saying, if I have my own money, Ian, do I think it's better for me to put it in a new random project that could 1000x, or do I think I can 1000x that money myself? And I'm basically betting on myself because having gone through a 2-year bear market in crypto, I mean, because the most I invested in crypto and lost was like projects like Sparkster and others, like 2018, almost when the bull market was almost, I mean, bear market was beginning and kind of in the middle. Like I was investing like 150K into projects. Like I put 150K into almost 200K into some, I think, like Loom Network, Sparkster, and others. I think even Pixio Chain, man, that that project, Pixio Chain, oh man. And I'm like, hold up, son. I put $150,000 into this project on the internet off of a white paper and some spreadsheet. Like, what would the world be like if I put that money and bet on myself? So that's the mindset I had. That's how I ended up putting over 2 million of my own money into token metrics, because I was like, I can take this money and put it into some altcoins. But I mean, this was at the bottom of a bull market, and sorry, bottom of a bear market, and I was like, I believe in myself a lot, and I think I can 1,000x this more so than anybody in the world. So it's really a bet on myself. So I know I've kind of been rambling, but basically, what I'm saying is invest in crypto, but one way to cash out your profits, reinvest that back into yourself. Maybe start a business on the side and build that business, right? I mean, you can do both. You don't have to just be purely an investor. Like, I mean, starting Tokemetrics has been one of the best things I've ever done. I mean, because honestly, a lot of trouble can be had from just being, at least for me, from just being an investor and trader. Because, I mean, it's great to make money passively. But after the crypto world too, when you're just traveling the world, doing 35 countries in 12 months, you're just printing money. But actually waking up and having a team to manage, like we have at this point, like almost 30 people, I would say about over 20 people on our team, if you count part-timers and contractors as well. But waking up and having a team, basically it gives you purpose, right? Sometimes, because I know some people who trade and they get bored of it, right? Because even if they're making money, they feel like it's not too easy. But I would say you wake up, make a trade on an exchange, close your losses, and that's it, right? But kind of like I feel like if you want to have more, sometimes building something can be very fulfilling. But anyway, I've been talking a lot. Let me check the comments. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Oh man, uh, you guys got me on a tangent there. All right, yeah, I think let's call that a night. Yeah, there's no better person to invest in than yourself, right? So if you, as you're making money in this bull market, as mentioned the lesson, invest in yourself, right? Because the worst thing you can do is, let's say you put in 10 grand. Like I spoke to somebody that we just hired somebody. Oh, we're about to hire somebody. I think he told me he put in about 10K, turned that to 100 grand uh, in the last few months or so, I believe. And I'm like, that's great. Take out your initial investment and maybe use that to invest in yourself, or maybe take out even some more and put that in yourself, right? Altcoins are the future. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, do you miss working for Deloitte or one of the big four? Hell no. Oh man, I did not miss Deloitte at all. I worked at Deloitte for 2 months and I quit real quick, real quick. Uh, my story at Deloitte. Okay, let me. I've kind of shared this. Let me see if I can. So, I finished grad school, joined Deloitte. Actually, I applied to Deloitte Consulting online. Initially, this was for a job as an analyst. Got rejected or declined by the recruiter. I had a phone interview, got turned down, whatever. Then I was like, you know what? I won't give up. There has to be a better way. Because I mean, at this point, this was it was kind of a bear market for jobs. I think the market had just kind of recovered from like a recession in a way. But anyway, I spoke to somebody from college. I knew who was working at Deloitte. Spoke to him on the phone. He's like, yeah, cool, whatever, you know. Because I wanted him to give me a recommendation to refer me to the company, right? But once I told him they had turned me down for this other role, he kind of just went ghost. He just vanished, right? And first lesson learned from that is sometimes the people who will help you out the most won't even be your friends. They'll be acquaintances, right? And I've shared this before. Basically, I went on LinkedIn and just found a bunch of people who worked at Deloitte who had first degree connections with me. And it was some guy I met only once at a bar. Basically, this guy was just my wingman. Like, I was trying to talk to some nice, lovely ladies. I was just me, and he was there. And I was like, hey guys, I was like, hey, let's go talk to those ladies. Things went well, you know. We kind of just exchanged business cards just as a formality, but never really talked to each other after that, honestly. And back then he was working for some other company, but for some reason, I added him on LinkedIn. I think just because, I don't know, right? But here we are, like 2 years later. This guy's now working at Deloitte, and I slide in his DMs. I'm like, hey, buddy, how's it going? And you know, we spoke. I told him, yeah, I'm trying to apply to Deloitte, whatever. He's like, yeah, send me your resume. I'll refer you, right? Because working there, people who work at those companies also have an incentive to want to refer you because they get paid for anybody who gets hired by the company, right? I sent him my resume, and he took a look at my resume, and he found the right department and the right job to submit me for. Like, I didn't even pick a job. He just went through, did the research, boom, right? And the job he referred me for was called consulting job. Basically, at Deloitte, you have tiers. You have analyst. Typically, you have to be an analyst for like a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, then become a consultant, then become a senior consultant. So the job I got turned down for was a job as an analyst, but this guy referred me for a job as a consultant. The job is typically actually even more senior. And I ended up getting the job. Because funny thing is, once he referred me, a week later, the same recruiter, some recruiter in India, I don't even know if she knew I was the same person, right? Because I think that they have so many phone calls. It's like they treat everybody like a number. But basically, I had an interview with her on the phone, easier than the one before that. Next thing you know, they want me to come into their office. I go to their office. Easiest interview of my life. Like 5 people interviewed me. They're all just like checking a bunch of things, just like not even wanting to be there. And I got the job. And lesson I learned from that is sometimes acquaintances can change your life, right? So, I mean, that's why, if anything, anybody you meet, always keep an open mind, always stay in touch, right? Technology can be a great way for that. LinkedIn is a very powerful tool. Use it to land your job, right? And if you get rejected once, try again, find other ways in, right? So then my first day at Deloitte Consulting, I recall I was there wearing my 3-piece suit, hella overdressed. Then I'm there on the computer, like trying to like go through the onboarding training, and I get a phone call. And I was like, okay, so I excused myself to go take the phone call because they left me a voicemail, and I could see in the voicemail, because I had like Google Voice, that it was IBM. So IBM called me on the first day of my Deloitte onboarding, and I go to speak to the guy on the phone, and I'm like, do I really want to do this? Like, I just joined Deloitte. This is my first day, and I'm already talking to IBM. So I'm like, you know what? Let me do my research. Did my research, and it was a job I really liked. And I spoke to a friend of mine who was working at IBM, and he told me the work-life balance there was great. So it made a lot of sense to say, you know what? Let me keep my options open, right? So the whole time, 2 months I was there, I was going through the whole interview process. Actually, I was interviewing both with IBM and Microsoft, right? Because Microsoft was also talking to me still, but ended up getting an offer from IBM, and I left, and that was basically that, and that was my experience at Deloitte. Basically, Deloitte just honestly paid me to just kind of be there. I was only on one project. I didn't like it. It was kind of like they messed so many things up. Even though it's a great company to work for, I'm definitely not trying to like poo-poo Deloitte per se. But somebody messed up, and when they brought me on board, because technically then I was an American, but they had put me in federal, even though you have to be naturalized or an American to get any federal jobs. So somebody messed up the paperwork there. I'm not sure how, but I didn't complain because I was getting paid. Then they switched me to commercial sector, but by then I was basically on the way out with IBM. All right, so that's basically that. I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you, everybody. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe. Uh, we'll keep you updated on when we confirm a possible customer only live stream. All right, so if you guys like these live streams, we want to do something like this during the week, probably for like an hour, maybe I'll say half an hour to an hour. It hasn't been confirmed, but just for our customers, it'll be on the site. Basically, we're thinking of launching Token Metrics TV, right? So stay tuned, stay tuned. I want to kind of see how this will work, but basically there'll be a place for you to go on the site and say, and just kind of watch Bill and I on Token Metrics as you're doing your crypto, right? Kind of like Bloomberg, how you have like Bloomberg Terminal and Bloomberg TV. All right, that's kind of what we're thinking. All right, that being said, time for us to
We just landed on the moon and the
go
land
make this crypto money.
taking pictures.
The craziest bubble ever is back. So let's go make that money. And when you make that money, first of all, don't invest more than you're willing to lose. And guys, actually, you know what? I wanted to actually share a story. I spoke to somebody in crypto who told me I won't name their names, obviously, for privacy, but they told me that they were honestly on the verge of committing suicide because they had lost a lot of money in crypto. This is during a bull run. And it was definitely a very sad thing to hear and very unfortunate, right? So I just kind of want to put that out there. Like when we say diversify, like we mean this. Like this is real talk. Like people out there, I mean, because the way this person lost his money, he put 50% of his money into one coin. That one coin, basically, you could say it was a rug pull, it was a scam, whatever, right? But basically, it became illiquid. Prices going down, people are selling. But basically, it sucks, right? And then, this was half of this person's savings. Savings he had earned over, I mean, I don't know, like several years. I would assume maybe even over decades, maybe, right? But basically, he took half of his savings, put into a random small coin that became illiquid. And now, because he has a family and kids and everything and health problems, he now began to FOMO into other coins, trying to remake the money he lost. And he took that money, the remaining money, basically 50% or whatever, and put that into some other pump and dump, right? And definitely want to hit this point home. Like, do not practice proper portfolio allocation. I mean, that's why we have the indices. I mean, yes, they're not going to blow anybody out the water, but I mean, they will prevent you from putting 50% of your money into one coin that goes to zero, right? This kind of, I mean, sometimes the best move is to be conservative, right? Because trying to chase all these degen coins that are popping out every single week. I mean, if you're going to do that, because I know lots of you will still do that, only put 1 to 2% of your portfolio. Treat that like a trade. right? So with that being said, I mean, be careful out there. I mean, the market, as I said before, we are financial athletes playing a game of science. And in a game of science, the market does not care about your feelings, right? The market does not care about your feelings. So you have to learn the lesson, right? It's kind of like laws of physics. At the I mean, if you're trying to build a spaceship, nobody cares about your feelings. The laws of gravity and physics just don't care. I mean, so be careful out there and take profits and invest in yourself. Until then, I'll see you next time.
We just landed on the moon.
Thank you, crypto family.